And I believe in every company, if they should be paying individual or average Nigerian people to be collecting that such amount of salary, I think it will be beneficial for the citizen.
I would say a typical Nigeria working on a day-to-day job, I would say my salary will be nothing less than 70 to 80,000 naira. Because of my skills, I would say I'm a professional cleaner, though I own a cleaning company, but because of my skills and everything, I would say my salary will be like, if I'm working for someone, it would be like 70 to 80,000.
Presently, our ideal salary is 100,000. My best work experience is a sales consultant, and I love the work presently, and the work is making me to have boldness to talk to people. Like, I've gone to several places that I've never been before. I've talked to people that's not even up to my caliber, and I've mingled a lot with kind of big men.
At least with the recent condition of this our country, if the minimum wage should be between a region of 60,000, at least for a start now, compared to the inflation we are facing now, the cost of living, accommodation and other charges. So at least for a start, 60,000 is not bad.
To me, probably if I say like 180,000 naira is manageable, that's as the way the country is right now. It's better than just sitting at home or for me to be frustrated and misbehaving. So instead of that, so let me just doing it. At least I can see at the end of the day, I won't be able to save anything down. I'll be able to use it to eat. That's all.
If you pay me 1 billion naira, I will not mind. If you pay 1 million a week, I will not mind. But the point remains, we are running an economy that ought to have grown. I don't belong to the class that say a growing economy. We ought to have grown. We are an overfed baby as far as Nigerian economy is concerned. Howbeit, given the society we are in today, some of the boys, I call them boys, at the National and even the State Assembly, and close to 2-3 million naira a month. So for some of us who've paid our dues, especially in the media, if going by the standard of living in this country today, 1 million naira will not be a bad idea.
My ideal working salary has been from 200 to 400 to get, and that's what I prefer to always get from any company, because I'm always a strategist. I render solutions to companies on how the company can move ahead as well there.
Abraham, Moses, Jacob, you are one family.
There's no doing all this sport in Nigeria.
See how your body just dripping diamond.
Designs is a fashion accessory label that specializes in the design and creation of handcrafted bags and footwear. I knew I was going to do something in fashion. I didn't know what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I would be in fashion. If it is to be the cleaner in fashion, whatever, but I have to be in fashion. When we started off with just strictly bag making. But then you get people say, oh, can I get a matching shoe? And then over time, people say, oh, I would like to give my boyfriend a wallet, but I want it with Ankara or something. So over time, we had to listen to our customers and infuse their ideas into our brand. Okay, we wanted something with the African touch, with the Nigerian feel. We make leather bags. But if I'm making a leather bag and I put it in a store, if you don't know Hesse Designs is Nigerian, you probably think it's a foreign bag. So what's the point of promoting something that is not, if you look at, you can't link it to Africa, you can't link it to Nigeria. Wanted something to promote Africa, wanted something to promote Nigeria. We also want to empower our artisans here. So that's why we keep our content local, raw materials local, production local. We still get a lot of people from around the world ordering from our website. So I believe it's because of what we've built, the brand we've built over time that still speaks for us. In the last 3 years, we've done over 10,000 items. We've sold over 10,000 items to both corporate clients, retail clients, and wholesale clients.
Tonight, we take a closer look at the YPP and its plans for 2023 elections. And Nigerian government shields herdsmen and blames ISWAP for a war attack, report says. Well, this is Plus Politics. I am Mary Anacom. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, earlier published the particulars of candidates nominated by the political parties for the 2023 general elections. This included the Ado Ibrahim Abdulmalik, presidential candidate of the Young Progressives Party, YPP, and his running mate. The national chairman of the Young Progressive Party, Bishop Amakri, expressed satisfaction with the massive support the party enjoys, saying YPP candidates will deliver the dividends of democracy. He also reiterated the assurance of the party's leadership to change the narrative of governance through its candidates and urged the youth and all progressive-minded Nigerians to take their destiny into their hands by registering for the permanent voters' cards, which remained the only weapon to enthrone good governance at all levels in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. And joining us to discuss this tonight is the National Publicity Secretary of the Young Progressives Party, Comrade Egbeola Wale Martins. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Martins.
Thanks for having me on your program this evening.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. So let's talk about the party. Hopefully we will get to speak to your presidential candidate. But today we want to talk about the YPP. The YPP obviously is a party that was built to accommodate young people and their aspirations. But over the years, there seems to have been a lot of metamorphosis happening within the party, because as we see today, we have an Ado Ibrahim as your presidential candidate. What has changed within the party from when it started until now?
Yes, thank you very much. As it is with every movement, political party, in this case the Young Progressives Party, we've evolved over time, right from when the party was registered 5 years ago, precisely 2017, June 7th. And ever since then, we've been waxing strong, and we've been able to penetrate all the states in Nigeria, cascading down to the local government, which at the initial was not the case. Over the 5 years, the YPP has been strengthened along that line. And I can tell you that one of the fundamental reasons why the YPP was vetted was on account of the fact that we felt there was a need for a paradigm shift. There was no, it will only be foolhardy for us to continue to do things the same way and expect a different result.
What exactly have you changed that is going to get you? I'm so sorry. I thought you stopped talking. I was wondering, what exactly have you changed within the party to get you the kind of results that you're looking for in 2023? Because I'm guessing that what you want to do is win.
Yes, definitely. Yes, a lot has changed over time. We are coming, our center and our pivot is on the strength of transformational leadership. We've seen over the time that the problem with Nigeria is not even with the rulers, but majorly with the kind of leaders that we have. So we've strengthened our leadership recruitment process, which helps us to throw qualitative leadership to Nigerians. In 2019, we did the same thing. We brought in a man with that caliber of Professor Kingsley Moghalu, who ran on our platform in 2019. And in 2023, we've moved a step higher by bringing somebody of Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim with with both national and international experience in diverse areas to be able to transform Nigeria as it is. His wealth of experience in the area of power is second to none. There's no presidential candidate as we speak, in other political parties that have got his own hands-on experience in the area of power, in the area of security. Those are his major strengths. And as we are today, if you can solve the problem of insecurity in Nigeria, if you can solve the problem of power in Nigeria, then you know that over 70% of our problems are solved. So in essence, we are building organic followership. We are also bringing to the table our expertise in terms of our ability to solve the myriad of challenges that is confronting the nation as it is. We are also ensuring that we are on the same page, with all Nigerians who have been battered over the years. In the last 23 years, it's been sadness, sorrow, and woes, high unemployment rate, the Human Development Index, which is a composite statistics for education, per capita income, and life expectancy, is getting worse by the day. All indicators, in terms of economic indicators, are at their lowest that we've never experienced before. And the PDP and APC have been there over time with empty promises, only for them to get there and begin to ask the question of what they actually promise. And we felt things cannot continue that way. And that is why we came up through a very effective leadership recruitment process to throw up a man like Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim to be able to confront these challenges head on. He is not a man who will have to wait for like 6 months before he appoints his ministers, or he would have to start traveling from one place to the other to be able to seek solutions. He already have them in his blueprint, and he's going to start working from day one to ensure that things are effectively put in place in Nigeria for the benefit of its citizens.
I'm curious, looking at something that your party holds as a mantra, together we are stronger, and your mandate is that you believe that it is time for generational shift in leadership, and this revolution must be driven by highly cerebral, mentally progressive, and young innovative leaders without greed. If Nigeria must truly live up to her full potentials and take her up to her rightful place of leadership in Africa, this is what you have as your party's mantra. But 16 candidates from 16 different political parties have been fielded. And we've seen the APC and the PDP, which have continuously been, the two biggest parties in the country, who have taken turns to lead this country. Now, looking at what's happening now in the political terrain, we have also seen other people who have probably left the APC and the PDP to other political parties, ditto for the NNPP, the Labour Party. What chances does the YPP stand against the caliber of people who are going to be running for this same office, that highest and most revered seat? When it comes down to it, does the YPP stand a chance?
Yes, I can tell you the answer is an emphatic yes. We have 8 months to be able to, galvanize our citizens. It's enough time for them to be able to evaluate all the candidates and then also make informed decisions. Thank God that it's unlike the time that the Electoral Act never gave the opportunity for a period over time for Nigerians to assess the kind of candidates. This time around, that opportunity is there, and we are building on this. And I'll tell you that things are changing with the turnout of Nigerians, youths most especially, who feel there's a need for them to take their destiny into their hands, participating in the political process through massive registration, and also translating that into voting for the candidates of their choice. And there's no better candidate, I continue to say, than a man with both national and international experiences in the private and public sector. He is a man who has seen it all at that level and worked with the Under Secretary of the United Nations, and his global experience will bring global competitiveness in terms of our economy, businesses, and in all sphere of our development. And I'll tell you that in line with what you read concerning our vision, what we stand for, our mantra and our mandate, you see, the YPP is our vision is to build an egalitarian society, that is anchored on citizens as a prime resource, driven by mentally progressive and young innovative leaders without greed. And we put that without greed, because over time, the problem with the kind of leaders we have in Nigeria is greed. You hear the humongous money they steal every now and then. And this has been the case right from the 60s. What terminated the 1966 democracy was on account of heavy corruption. Over the years, nothing has changed. It's been corruption. Look at the Accountant General of the Federation, who was alleged to have stolen 80 billion naira. So many money missing. This money alone, if put together and if the loopholes in terms of corruption is plugged, is enough to solve many challenges in this nation. So I can tell you competitively that the kind of candidate we are putting forward is a man who is highly cerebral, who is innovative, who is going to be bringing something entirely new, something bold and something different to the scene, something that has never been seen before. He's not telling you, I will do this. He's somebody who is matching words with action. Somebody who is already doing those things that is coming to replicate in the nation. So I can tell you that man for man, in terms of candidature, we have the best candidates running for this election.
Great. Aside from the candidate that you have to offer, what is your base? I asked this again. The YPP at the beginning was, even the name says it's for young progressives. But then I ask because there is a movement, and the obedient movement, and they're mostly young people. Online, offline, these are young people. So what is your base right now? What is your strategy to get some of these, if not a huge or all of these young people, to also see the strategy that you bring to the race come 2023? How do you intend to galvanize all these young people?
That has been ongoing. We were the only political party immediately after the 2019 election to have a post-mortem analysis of the 2019 election. Through a gathering known as stakeholders meeting to review. And since then, it's been ongoing. We've been doing, reaching out, galvanizing the youth, building an organic movement. Let me tell you something. You see, the example you gave with the youth doing a lot with the obedience movement is a welcome development. But I can tell you emphatically that it takes a lot of involvement to be able to effect a change. The Young Progressives Party is a platform for everyone, including the young, the old. So the name itself is not just restricted to the young. Even the old is a party for the women. And I can tell you that our strategy is ongoing. It's not something that it's ongoing. You see, there's no ballot box on social media. What you see is you see we have coordinated, committed, pragmatic individuals that are working tirelessly for the party at the level of the local government and what. And then I can tell you that with time, things will evolve, and they will understand that in terms of winning an election is both being on ground and also total commitment that transcends the noise and the hula baloo in social media. But I can tell you that we have a lot of youths that are working for us. We have a lot of youths that are involved. We have a lot of youths that are participating in this political process. And with a matter of time, you see that what we are doing, we drop whatever you see that is currently going on right now.
Great. Talking about being on ground, and this is my last question before we go for the break. You have spoken about, being on ground and, quieting the noise on social media. Let's talk statistics. How many seats so far since the antecedents of this party, and of course now in 2022, how many seats locally, at the local level, local government, at state levels, and even at the federal, on the floor of the National Assembly, how many seats has the YPP won around the country?
Yes, if that is a yardstick, I think you will not name five political parties currently in Nigeria without mentioning the YPP. Because as you speak, YPP outside the APC and PDP is the only political party that is represented at the level of the Senate. There are only 3 political parties that have got senators in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and YPP is one of them. And as it stands, we were also able to win a councillorship seat in Lagos. Through the normal maneuvering of the APC, our candidate was strengthened, and somehow we ended up having a situation where he was forced against his wish to decamp to the ruling party. But that, as it may, YPP is only 5 years old. Mr.
Martins, are you there? I think that we lost that connection, but Igbola Wale Martins is the publicity secretary of the Young Progressives Party, the YPP, and it was a great conversation. Well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will discuss the Owo massacre and how this has affected the people's trust in the government. Stay with us.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigerian officials blamed the terror attack on St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State, on the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, while avoiding references to networks of politically powerful herdsmen, Knoxville News Sentinel reported. Now, according to a senior fellow at the Religious Freedom Institute in Washington, D.C., Stephen Rush, Nigerian Christians have no longer any form of trust in their own government or leaders of the United States and the European Union. On the Owo massacre, Rush said murders are taking place weekly, almost daily in Nigeria. Murders of innocent Christians being gunned down, slaughtered indiscriminately throughout the north and increasingly into the central part of Nigeria and into the south. Well, joining us to discuss this is former director of the State Security Services, Mr. Mike Ejiofor. It's good to have you join us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Great. This report obviously is coming on the heels of the Owo massacre and, of course, the refusal by security agents to allow to disclose the persons who were behind, or the suspects that were behind the murders. But let's backtrack a little bit. Just looking at this report, especially the fact that someone from outside the country is now speaking not just about our governments, but governments of the United States and Nigeria. Is there any truth to the fact that the people no longer trust government, even security agencies, as per information on how this fight against terrorism is going?
Well, I don't think, even though people might have some misgivings in government, for you to say you don't trust government anymore, I don't think it's a right statement to make. People must have trust in government and encourage their security forces. Like you said, if you, I think it was too quick for some government officials. But again, we should be thinking of, where did that statement come from? Did it come from the military or from the police? You see, a lot of people make statements without investigation. It would have been proper if government security agencies were allowed to carry out their functions before making that statement from government that the ISWAP was responsible for the bombing. It was too quick for me because we were yet to get to the root of the problem before that still came up.
This is not the first time that we have had conflicting information in terms of terrorism. We remember what happened under the Goodluck Jonathan government. We had issues with numbers. The media would report this number, and then the army would come and counter it. And so it also begs the question, where do we get our information from? Because one thing is sure, you're saying we still need a level of trust for our governments to be able to help us to deal with these issues. But then when there are too many conflicting statements and there's uncertainty dangling, in the horizons, also coupled with the fact that people still get killed and there's not necessarily a follow through for us to get the right kind of information, especially us, the media, what do we do?
You have, as a responsible media, you have to protect your information. Otherwise, you lose your credibility and integrity. So it's very important that you protect the information. Like I said when we started, where did this information did it come from the defense spokesperson? Did it come from the SSS or from the police? A politician cannot just come and issue a statement on what he doesn't know about. So I think our security, our media, to rely on the source of the information, because the person who made that statement has no authority to make that statement. You know, like you said, during the Goodluck Jonathan era, you see people, the Minister of Information will make one statement. I'm surprised he's not even talking anymore. The Minister of Information will make statements, the police will make statements. They are supposed to have a coordinated approach to issue statements. Now you see the issue of our massacre, the Amoteco, you see They have arrested the people behind. Police say they are not aware. So there must be coordination, there must be synergy between all the security agencies before coming out to make a statement.
I'm going to go back to that. There are victims in these cases. People who have survived are also there. The families of these victims are also there in the fringes, waiting for something that they can hold on to. The villagers have also taken some, laws into their hands, permit me to use that word loosely, by invoking a curse from the gods. Amoteco is also trying to be seen to be doing their jobs. The force headquarters has said that they haven't gotten any suspect in their custody. And then you have said that we need to allow for some form of investigation to continue for us to get the right kind of information. That synergy may not necessarily be our place. We're supposed to see this synergy work. For example, I'll paint a picture. There was a train incident recently in New York, if not 2 months ago. We saw the mayor of New York. We saw the governor of New York. We saw the chief of police in New York. Every single person that held an office was there at that press conference, and they had one press conference giving the same information. And at the end of the day, they tell us, we're looking into the matter, we'll follow up. And this somewhat gave the people hope, something to hold on to. But in Nigeria, the case is different. And sometimes as media people, you have to keep pushing the police or even the army, security agencies to get information. There's another school of thought who says, well, go and do your own investigative analysis and get information. But then here we wait for the police. So if the police is not giving us information, and then we cannot go and get information also as investigators, where does this leave the people and our fight against terrorism?
You see, the must be, like I said, the must be coordination. You remember that during the Goodluck Jonathan era, there was this issue of National Information Center, where we had the representative of all the security agencies and the stakeholders coming to issue a statement, especially on national matters of great importance, like the our incident. That attracted global attention. So I expected that people coming to make statements, it must come from government to at least give people their assurance. What is happening now is that people don't have confidence in government. Like you said when you started, that people have lost faith in government. And I say people may not have confidence in government, in what is going on. Because they want to rely, they want to see. Like the governor of Ondo State assured that they are going to go after these people. And the Amoteco, for instance, came up with the issue that some of them have been arrested. I'm still at a loss since the Amoteco came out with the arrest. Did they hand them over the police? Police say is not aware of such arrest. So this gap or these gaps must be filled, and to not only help the press in reporting, but also build confidence in government and see how we can, in future, prevent this thing from recurring. So it's very, very important. It's key that such information should be put in the public domain.
Let's move away from the communication part of it. Let's look at the pockets of violence that's been happening. Aside from Owo, we've also seen that suspected herdsmen killed people in Enugu, 2 people in Enugu. We also saw that there were 2 people who were killed and 22 were kidnapped in Abuja, and they were demanding for 12 million naira. And these cases continue to spread, and it's no longer something that you say, oh, it's happening in the north. It's happening everywhere now. Does this mean that we are not necessarily finding our foot in fighting terrorism? Again, how can we say that between 2015 and now, we've been able to, according to the information minister, systematically deal with Boko Haram, deal with terrorism, and stem it down to its barest minimum? He said we technically have defeated Boko Haram and, of course, other forms of terrorism. But have we, with all of what's happening? We know that when it's close to election, campaign season, we see more and more of these attacks. But can we say that government has really been able to deal with this issue?
Actually, the situation is worrisome. There's no day you wake up, you read in the newspaper, you watch television to hear of a series of attacks, abduction, kidnapping, people paying ransom, and it's worrisome. And I think people also have to, be alert, be cautious. Some of these incidents would have ordinarily been prevented if we are conscious of our environment and where we are moving. People are driving, they're not looking back, they're not even checking the roads. When you get to bad spots, what do you do? So we cannot leave everything to government, even though it's a social contract. We have surrendered the security, our own security, to the government. And government, the primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. So if we begin to take laws into our hands to say we are going to protect ourselves, like some of the governor of the state, for instance, has suggested that we should arm themselves, that will lead to anarchy. And what I am suggesting is that people must cooperate with government to ensure that the environment is safe by looking at, in case of travels or your home, because it has even come to the extent that they go to homes now to kidnap people. So when you are in your home and you are kidnapped, what do? It becomes a problem. It's a major security challenge that we are facing. And without sounding pessimistic, I think we're going to have more of it as campaigns and elections are coming on. Because definitely some of these politicians are also arming the youth. And the youths on their own part should be able to say no to this. If you want me to be a thug or follow you, get your children, let them be. We need public enlightenment to at least dissuade these youth from being used by politicians. It's very important.
Why do you think that this war against terrorism, the messaging, not just about lip service now, the messaging, whether it be on the media, wherever it is, why do you think that it's not front and center of even the campaign or these politicians? Why is our government not prioritizing it? I know some people will say, well, the government has done its best, but is that best good enough? Why is it not front and center? Like you have just also said, it might be heightened just as the campaign season begins. And you have also said that people are being armed. I'd like to take your mind back to 2014, 2015, 2016, even down to 2021. We've seen many guns, ammunitions make their way sometimes as far as into the middle of the city before they're even caught. And those are the ones that we catch and take delivery of. But there are so many others that we have not still heard the last of it. We hear about the sensationalism part of it. The government, the security agencies say, oh, we're going to, investigate where it came from, what port it emanated from, and then it dies down. But then we're seeing more and more guns within the country. So we're looking at borders here. Why are these borders still porous? People have campaigned on these porous borders, and they're still the same way. Why are we still dealing with the issue of politicians arming people? I remember a certain governor in the southern state, with guns were found in government house. That matter somewhat has been swept under the carpet. How long can we go on like this if we really want to deal with the issue of terrorism? And we're getting ready for an election. Again, we the people, why are we not pushing for this to be front and center?
We are using the wrong approaches to solve this problem. I've said this few times without number, without sounding like a broken record. The police, for instance, is too centralized for a control. We need regional outfits, security outfits, or put differently, the state police. This is the only way we can go, because these people know their environment. If you bring somebody who does not know the environment to be operating in that environment, one, you don't have confidence of the people to volunteer information. There's cultural difference, cultural deficit, and all the like. But with the local police or the state police, you can see how effective those states these Moteku has been until this attack, on Catholic Church. I think the situation was really relatively calm in Ondo State because the operatives of Amoteku are indigenous of that place. They can enter the forest, but with strangers in the federal police, they will be afraid to go into the bush. They would not like to go. I mean, we have a lot of advantages in the creation of state police, but it has to the intervention of the National Assembly before the state police is created. But again, you see, people will tell you that there is a disadvantage, that the state governors will abuse it. And I ask, even as we are now, the federal police, is it not being abused? If somebody go and enforce your fundamental rights. So with the advantages of the state police, is far outweighs their disadvantages. So we need to look into the creation of state police, especially now that we're going to election. That's the only way we can move forward in this country.
Whether it be this government is already on its way out, even though it massively campaigned on the heels of making sure that they fight terrorism, which we haven't seen them do. But will there ever be the willpower to deal with this decisively? And like I mentioned, starting with where these guns are coming from, do we see that willpower anytime soon from any leader? And let's not forget, the people who are campaigning for these leaders come from these areas also that have been experiencing some form of insecurity or the other. So again, is there the willpower on the side of government? And are we the people making them serious enough to take up that job of making sure that we are secure, because it is their mandate to make sure that we are protected?
You see, the flow of illegal arms in Nigeria is massive. And this as a result of our porous borders. And we cannot continue to cry over spilled milk. We also need to liberalize carrying of firearms, because over 540 million in West Africa sub-region, over 70% of them are in Nigeria. And you begin to wonder how, and that's free access to arms, especially from the Boko Haram, the ISWAP. There's so much arms, and that they don't have rules of engagement. And that makes it very difficult for our military to also engage them, because they have rules of engagement. These people operate anyhow, no rules of engagement, they don't have any rules guiding them. So they just operate, shoot at people. You can imagine, train attack. They have been visited several institutions, even military institutions, killing soldiers and others. They just want to make government unpopular and undermine the people's government confidence in government. And that's their aim. Because we cannot exactly say this is what they are looking for. It's quite different from what we have in the southwest region, where you have people demanding for Republic of Duduwa, or the southeast, where you have people asking for Republic of Biafra. We must come together to survey this country. The country belongs to all of us. Nobody is more Nigerian than any other person. So we need to work together to make Nigeria great.
Well, no better way to end the conversation. Mike Ejiofor is the former director of the DSS, and we appreciate your thoughts, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that's it on the show tonight, but I leave you with some of the highlights of the show this week. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back on Monday, 7 p.m. talking on the big political stories across the country and on the continent. I am Mary Anna Cohn. Have a good night.
Consider that He wasn't good enough to be able to be your vice. That's point one. The second point is, for example, I've taken time to listen to my colleague, my brother that is talking on the other side. I don't know him. But for you to say that the comments that are being made is by political jobbers, that means that I'm a political jobber. It's an unfortunate statement. I'd like to let you know, just like you stated, if you compose a committee, 17-man panel, to come up with a decision, and of course, as a member of the PDP, I'm aware that a presidential candidate cannot unilaterally take a decision. And that was why he proposed and submitted himself that choose me a vice presidential candidate. And if at the end of the day, 14 out of 17 deemed it fit to say that Wike should be, even if you purpose to take a contrary opinion, prior to that particular time, what should you have done? You should, just like the governor of Benue State had stated, at least held this man in high esteem. Single-handedly, Wike held this party from 2014. In terms of financial capacity, in terms of, look at what happened in the 2019 PDP convention. The current presidential candidate is just coming from another party. Of course, we are not against that. But if you want to do something, let there be equity. So everybody who is saying that, and you know what makes this most embarrassing is when Atiku was going to make the public statement, I wish that he hadn't made that statement that he made, that he chose Okowa on the basis of the fact that he had looked and he has a future presidential capacity. Also, the other two candidates lack that ability. It's most unfortunate. It is so painful, and whatever decision my governor will take today, the rest assured, number one, we'll stand behind him, we'll stand by him, and it is definitely going to affect the fortunes of PDP, if not in the north, at least in the south. Those who are saying, does one man make a forest? You will see examples of that area. You could see that, of course, at the moment now there is already cross-carpeting and whatsoever. We do not need this type of atmosphere.
Mr. Tamunala, are you insinuating that Governor Wike may leave the party? Because he succinctly said to us, and I remember that he was never going to leave the party. He would stand by his party. But this statement you just made has some patches on it that seems that like the governor is about to make a move of sorts. Do you have an information?
My dear lady, I am not Governor Wike, but one thing that is a constant in life is a change. Governor Wike could have made a statement to say he's not going to move. But of course, look at the escalating circumstances. Listen to the comment of the former Niger State governor. I mean, you see, of course, no matter how much we try to build the house, if at a particular point in time you discover that you are not wanted in a particular place, you've got to weigh the options and whatever. I know that my governor is an astute thinker, and when he takes a decision, it's definitely going to be a right decision. So for now, he hasn't taken that decision. For now, he hasn't said anything. But when eventually he does, and in the event that he takes the decision to step out of the party, definitely you can be sure that as many of us that are with him will definitely still stand by him.
No matter how popular Atiku is, he cannot win election alone.
Okay.
No matter how strong a general is, he will never want to lose any of his lieutenants.
And lastly,
so I will still continue to say that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should, as a matter of urgency, set up a high-power delegation to go and have a serious discussion with Nyesom Wike.
Why anybody in the leadership of PDP would want to grace former President Olusegun Obasanjo with the honor he does not deserve. They will be committing political harakiri in this political society if they want to engage with Olusegun Obasanjo on anything that we give him relevance, especially for the mischief that he has set out to do. They should just leave him on his own and let him do whatever he likes, because at some point, the public will see him as a nuisance that is just there. But if they want to engage him, as they have threatened to do, they will be the worst for him.
There are those who would be very...
Not so much that I love them, not so much that I'm a member of the party, but it will be a strategic PR error to engage Obasanjo in any form of imbroglio, especially on remarks and opinions that he has codified in his book. I wonder why they want to engage in this rough fight.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, PlusTvAfrica, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajitumobi.
engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Usayo Saleh, and today I have my Friday beautiful tonics in the building. One in orange, one in black. Hello, who are we start? Let me start with the orange lady. Hello, Money.
Hello, Uwa.
How are you?
Well, I look bright on the outside.
I know. There are some of those days, right? It's one of those
today
days.
is one of those days. I'm trying.
I know, I can imagine.
Trying.
I had a lot of emotional roller coaster, in
the last few days.
Yeah.
Right?
Last week and all of that. But hey.
We move.
Oh. Uti Elu.
Yes, ma'am.
So Uti got promoted.
He's old.
Wait.
But
I brought a brand new car to the studio yesterday.
And
she's refusing to take me to dinner.
No, guess what? Uwa, we talked about the ice cream after the show.
Yeah, she's paying.
It's on Uti. Uti, you're
and
paying.
Pizza.
Yes.
No, we should give her.
She has to wash.
You have to give her something more expensive.
It's too cheap. No. Guess what? She'll do it twice. She'll do it today and she'll do it maybe next week, Monday.
Yeah, they're spending money.
How are you, Uti?
All right. I'm good.
Amazing.
Work, more work as always. Nothing ever changes, but I'm good. I'm just happy it's Friday. Like Friday.
Yeah.
I get to sleep.
You get to sleep.
Honestly, congratulations.
I'm excited. Thank you. As exciting as it is, the work just triples. And you're like,
yeah, but that's what it is. To whom much is given,
much is expected.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. All right, so today we're discussing beauty business, right? It's been a long time we discussed anything beauty. We want to talk about inclusivity, right? How it's impacted the beauty business globally. It's not even, globally.
Just Africa.
I mean, it's so interesting that you see brands recognizing African countries and want to be present in African countries. These kind of things never happened ever, and we have an amazing guest with us. And here's what we found out today's quote. By decolonizing the industry is saying goodbye to backward beauty standards and adopting an inclusive conception of beauty itself. And only then will we have an industry that is inclusive in its focus, product creation, and representation. Now, although the beauty industry has made strides in recent years to be more inclusive, key audiences in the beauty space still feel underrepresented, both in the marketing materials and in having equitable access to products that meet their needs. Now, Leslie Okoye is here to discuss beauty business and the impact inclusivity has had over the years in the beauty world. Now, but we'll do all of that, but first let's take a break to see what we found in the news. You are still watching Ways. Now, National Doctors Day is a day celebrated to recognize the contributions of physicians to individual lives and communities. The day varies from nation to nation depending on the event of commemoration used to mark the day. In some nations, the day is marked as a holiday, although supposed to be celebrated by patients in and benefactors of the healthcare industry. It is usually celebrated by healthcare organizations. Staff may organize a lunch for doctors to present the physicians with token of recognition. Historically, a card or red carnation may be sent to the physicians and their spouses, along with a flower being placed on the graves of the deceased physicians. So this is National Doctor Day. Do you have any doctor in the family?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
I have 2 doctors in the family.
Awesome.
My junior brothers are both doctors in America.
They're in the America.
I want to say in the United States. And
Also,
yes,
doctors are amazing.
Amazing. They're very
lifesavers.
doctors.
Their weight in gold. I just think that families that have doctors really don't know the value. I have a friend right now. Her dad is a doctor, her sister is also a doctor, and her mom is ill. And the health sector, we've talked about it so many times, we know that it's in a complete state of disarray.
Yeah.
So to have someone in the family
that
who,
can just,
it's like the extra personal touch. And someone that has the knowledge to really explain what the doctors mean. Because sometimes doctors just speak and they tell you this is what you need. But at that point, you don't know if it's real, and you don't even know the quality of the doctor. So just having a doctor in the family that's telling you, okay, check this is what this means, it really makes the world of difference when you're
especially in Nigeria, because you go to the hospital. So for people like me, I can be very annoying if I go or when I go to the hospital. I don't fall sick, my children don't fall sick, but I have an adopted daughter who I had to take to the hospital, I think it was last month. Everything that I diagnosed at home was what I told the doctor when we go there. He checked, he now is like, are you a doctor? Have you been in the medical? I said, no, I have 2 doctors at home. So everything we say in my house is just medical. They talk in medicine. They don't speak English, so it's very interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah. I'm excited. I was in a meeting yesterday. Yeah.
Future doctor.
Yeah. I was in a meeting yesterday, and, a lot of people are actually looking towards Africa to change the face of, people are actually, because I have a friend of mine that is, we were in school together. He's a doctor in Germany. And, he was telling me the last time we spoke about, possibility of coming back to Nigeria. A lot of medical doctors want to actually come back to establish proper healthcare structures. And guess what? It's going to happen very soon. So I'm excited about that.
On the table, Nigeria will frustrate them out of
We will frustrate Nigeria.
No, you know why Nigeria won't frustrate them? Because they lived here, number one. So they know how Nigeria works. They know how the system
is. And again,
COVID,
COVID has taught these leaders that when it comes to those healthcare structure, they should please allow them to
Let me tell
work.
You something. I was one of them. They're very well meaning. When you live abroad, you think I'm going to come to Nigeria, I'm going to fix all the problems. I had a very close family friend. He's a civil engineer. Same thing. I don't understand why Lekki floods. There's water on one side, there's water on the other side. He's easily fixed. He went back with his tail between his legs. Y'all are not ready.
No, but don't worry. Some are ready.
Some are ready. And we will help make it possible for them, facilitate it, because we need doctors in Nigeria. Trust me. All right, so let's go to what we found. Mani, let's start with you.
Okay. So I went to the medical field. So it says COVID-19, Nigeria misses WHO vaccination target. Experts task NPHCDA. So it's been 2 years since the introduction of deadly coronavirus pandemic and its global impact. Since then, vaccines have been made and healthcare responses to the virus has been bolstered. It's been reported that Nigeria is lacking behind on the COVID-19 vaccination target set by the WHO, that is fully vaccinating only 20.5% of its population so far. For me, that's even all right. And partially vaccinating 10.7% of the total eligible population. The WHO set the target of 70% mid-year COVID-19 vaccination target. So Dr. Moiti used the platform to encourage and appeal to everyone to get the COVID vaccine. So a public health physician and Senior Vice President for Africa, Human Health Education and Research Foundation, Dr. Ifeanyi Sofor, said misinformation, insecurity, religious and cultural beliefs are some of the challenges limiting the country from meeting the vaccination target. Yes, and I believe so myself. There's a lot of religious limitation here.
You know, we actually have the vaccines for starters.
Yeah.
Because I remember looking for a booster and not
Yeah.
being able. So the expiration wasn't even a problem because they were pretty good. I mean, say whatever you will, right? Commend the structure that we have for the dissemination of vaccines. Actually, really, really good. So in terms of even the vaccines being destroyed when they got to their end of life, that was also done. The concern for me is, did we meet the target in the sense that, okay, vaccinate 200 million people, we put down 200 million vaccines, and then there's nobody to take them. So, yes,
exactly.
We had a COVID problem here in that a lot of people didn't believe there was COVID. And to be fair, from a masses point of view, COVID kind of came and went. Like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and God knew we were not ready.
Thank you.
So it passed us over like the Passover.
Hallelujah.
So it's not, did we have the vaccines to say, yes, we had enough to vaccinate to meet the target?
Nope.
And we didn't. I don't
Never.
believe that we did.
Not at any point.
So I don't think that even if you did, if you had the vaccines and then you said, oh, we destroyed 200 million vaccines because we didn't, but I don't think we had that.
Yeah, so it's not about us not wanting to take it.
Yeah,
that
it
it's
wasn't
not
available.
Yeah, she didn't want
Let's
to
move.
Take it. I'm anti-vax, by the way. But it's
okay.
How do
All
you
right,
know
so my story, I picked this story for two reasons. One, first of all, the Nigerian media can be so badly behaved in their headlines.
Tell me about it.
So it says, dun dun dun, Buhari signs deal to allow UK offload hardened foreign criminals in Nigeria. It says, our new landmark agreement with Nigeria will increase the deportation of dangerous foreign criminals to make our streets and country safer. That comment was made by, I think her name is what, Priti Patel? The Home Secretary, yes, that's it, Priti Patel. So they signed this memorandum of understanding. And what it says basically is that if you serve a jail term in the UK and you're a foreign national, you can be deported. There's about, according to the story, it says that official estimates place the number of foreign criminals in UK prisons at 9,815. That's a huge pressure on
our prisons that we just talked about which
system, right? And then, so they've actually sent the first batch home on Thursday. We had 13 Nigerians and I believe 8 Ghanaians. So same plane came to Nigeria, dropped off them, and then went and dropped off the others. Now, this is not a new arrangement. The US has been deporting, countries, I think it was back in 2016, Germany said they were going to be deporting refugees that commit crimes back to, so if they can't deport you to your home country because they don't know your home country is ravaged by war, they'll deport you to the first country where you entered the EU from. So this is not a new process. And to be fair, if you enter another man's country, don't take your anyhowness there. If you commit a crime, you left Nigeria to go to greener pastures for opportunity.
You get there, you're face to face with opportunities.
Without the opportunities, you still chose crime. Then you deserve to end up back in Nigeria. So
I agree.
This
the
story
problem,
for me,
no, they did not end them back in Nigeria because we don't have prisons.
We don't want
already
them.
talk.
No,
so
our prisons are congested.
They serve their time, right?
So they're coming.
So they're bringing them back home. It's so in the UK, the only thing that wasn't clear for me, because I think in the UK regulations it says that you are exempt from deportation in the case where you've been, a criminal and served time, if you're a citizen of the Commonwealth. And I think it gives a date. So I think because we've all passed the date, so I think it was a date in 1973 where you then become exempt. Because Nigeria, we're a Commonwealth country, so technically you can't. But if you do the crime, if you suffered to get there and you did not look for work and you deserve to come back to Nigeria. Okay. So it's not a new thing.
Let me take my story because it was quite troubling when I saw this. Kaduna community pays bandits 400 million to stop attack. So according to the village chief, or call him the community leader of Birnin-Gwari Emirate Council, his name is Alhaji Zubaru Abdul Rahuf, has said that they paid about 400 million to bandits just to allow them go into their farmland. So what they do is they pay in trenches. They pay when they're about to go farm, like to plant. Then when it's time for harvest again, they pay. So in that community in Brunegwari alone, they pay between 300 to 400 million. In another community called Rangdegi district, they paid about 200 million. So he was saying that he was saying that these are the three stages of paying and that these taxes that the bandits collect for them. So pre-season, mid-season, and harvest season, right? So when I saw this story, I found it quite troubling because, I mean, you keep on talking about bandits and the war against bandits, and somebody would send me a message and says, oh, we're winning what war? Now, first of all, how about we start to follow the money? We've said this thing several times. Let's follow the money to find these people, because 400 million Uti, is it possible for you to carry 400 million again now in cash?
But I asked you guys the other time and you said, it's possible. And now you're throwing my question back at me.
No, I'm asking because it doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. That's my point. So
we are saying that we're operating a cashless society. So how are you able to get... So even if you're going to go and withdraw 400 million from the bank, shouldn't a bank flag it and probably put the guys to monitor you? There should be a system. Like, it should be really easy to do these things. Because now for them to pay bandits pre-season and mid-season, harvest season, so they split it in seasons, because now the states are becoming economically weak because they can't even go to their farmlands. And somebody's telling me somebody's collecting 400 million and yet we cannot find these people. That's really sad.
To say that we can't find them is something else. I think the question is,
are we willing to find them?
Are we even looking for them? That's
sad.
the thing.
All right, let's discuss business. You stay with us. We'll be right back.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
Now, thanks for staying with us. Now, according to experts' opinion on diversity and inclusivity in beauty, successful brands recognize that demonstrating a strong and authentic commitment to diversity and inclusion via employment, product development, and marketing efforts can help drive inspiration and gain support. In fact, over the past year, 21% of adults who use beauty products have sought out beauty brands that promote diversity, and 20% have paid more for a beauty product for an inclusive brand. Now, to make a real impact and inspire consumers, brands must be authentic in their approach. Diversity in beauty is not a marketing tactic. It's an essential practice that requires brands to listen and collaborate with members of the community they hope to reach to ensure successful and meaningful products and campaigns are done. Now, inclusion is an ongoing and necessary process that needs to be considered during every phase of the product development process. What impact do you think inclusivity has had on the beauty business in the world? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So, Uti, I'll come to you quickly, and Manny, before I'll bring in our guest. Manny is smiling now.
Yes.
All right. So when you hear inclusivity and beauty business, right? I mean, gone are the days where beauty is for a specific kind of person. Now it is everywhere. Everybody has, something for everyone.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, where you think the impact is had on what inclusivity has had on beauty?
We've come a really long way, but we still have a really long way to go as well. For me, I grew up in the generation where it was Mac and Mac only.
Yeah.
But we have come a long way. We got to a point where, so first of all, the beauty industry was for white people. So they had the colors, and there's the darkest shade,
for
which
every
was
black
probably about your shade or a little bit darker. I remember, so my mom was a model when she was younger, so she was very much into makeup. And so when I was a teenager, she took me to Harrods and she said, okay, we're going to buy you makeup. And I remember we walked around every counter. And I mean, if you've seen the beauty hall at Harrods, it is extensive. And there was only two places. There was MAC and there was Laura Mercier. And the Laura Mercier powder was the closest. It wasn't the right shade, but at least it was
never have the right shade
in the region, right? So it was a very different market many years ago, back then. And for a lot of people, indeed, will say that they started from MAC. MAC was where you found your colors. And all these brands were creating for a market. So as a market, we didn't really matter because you followed the numbers, you followed the money. So when we got to the point where people started to become more aware, and I think social media was also a huge part of that, people started to get more aware and understand that I think it's you have a voice, so not body shaming, and we became proud of who we were. And one of the people that I saw, or I will say bloggers because I won't say influencers, but a lot of bloggers started to call out these brands who claimed to be diverse, but then the dark shade stopped somewhere just past you. So really, really forcing the industry to turn slowly. But then brands like Fenty came out where there were shades and shades and shades. There was, and I mean, even when I was learning about makeup, the difference that a blue undertone would have to the same red lipstick to a gold undertone, you start to realize that it's not just about your shade. You could look exactly the same and have different undertones. So you needed companies that understood the peculiarities
pigmentation
of black skin. But then there's not just black skin. There's the olives. There is the Asian. Like there's just a whole plethora. So when you talk about diversity, of course, we will see it from our perspective as black women, but there's a huge world out there, and forcing the industry to recognize all of us, including the boys that now wear makeup.
Now one. Manny, let me hear your thoughts in a minute.
Yeah, so for me, it's just everything Uti has said. And what I used to think, like she said, all we knew was MAC. MAC. Everybody had to have a MAC. And then I actually thought it was just a white person's business. And then from nowhere, Zara came up,
Zaron,
Tara, Zikel,
everybody.
Everybody started coming, and I was like, okay, so this is a business. And in 2017,
Sleek came first.
Okay,
it was Sleek that was the first.
Apologies, Sleek. 2017, Fenty came. And yes, it was
after MAC was Iman.
Exactly. And I know I found a shade in IMAC. But the funny thing, just like Uti said, that they still have a long way to go. up till today, I still have to mix. I still mixed today.
I saw it.
So, so I mixed because I can't find my shade.
Wait, was it Iman before Merike or Merike before Iman?
No, Merike.
Let me bring it our guest. Yeah. So Leslie Okoye is the founder of Cookie Skin, the melanin skincare line for women of color to achieve healthy, flawless skin without causing skin damage. Leslie's passion for doing skincare the right way led to Cookie Skin Academy, the world's leading education provider in melanin skincare consulting. Cookie Skin Academy aims to put the power back in the hands of women and men of African descent to own their beauty and do skincare the right way, choosing the right products, preventing skin damage, saving money and time, and strengthening their confidence. Now, with over 15 years of hands-on experience with melanin skin issues, Leslie Okoye is the #1, chosen skincare expert to many Nigerians and Ghanaian celebrities. Now, her Cookie Skin brand is sold nationwide in Nigeria in top chain pharmacies and supermarkets. And she's joined us live in studio, looking very, very skinnish. She's the skin. Now we see you, we see skin. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, this is an amazing conversation to have, and I'm glad that you were able to make out time to join us, to have this conversation. You have been in this business for a long time. Yeah. And I remember when I saw you many years ago, Cookie Skin, I think.
Where did you see me?
We had a conversation. I interviewed you on a different show.
Okay.
Many years ago, and Cookie Skin, before then, that was even before the academy, and I've seen how you've grown over the years, and the brand is becoming, it has become a household name. So when you look back and you see how far we've come along in the beauty world, right? How does that make you feel, first of all, as a person?
That's a lovely question. Well, I'm happy that people are listening, and I'm happy that the conversation is ongoing, especially when it comes to inclusive beauty. I don't feel like we've gone far enough. I feel like it's basically a cover-up, just like you've got, Makeup is for enhancements. It's now being used more and more to cover. And the question is why, for me. And it got me thinking, and sometime this year, I was able to find my voice in terms of understanding, when I say find my voice, that beauty is about understanding your own skin, beauty, how you present yourself, understanding it, being able to solve the problems by yourself, knowing what to reach for without making mistakes. And Africans, women of color, minorities, people who are high in melanin, have been left out of what is most important, which is skincare. So the cover up in the, I'll call it big cosmetica, just like they call big pharma, has been, they would include you in makeup. Who are the main manufacturers and the main industry holders of makeup? It's all Caucasians, whites, Europeans, big companies. Then they do private label or OEM, whether it's coming from China, whether it's coming from the US or UK, and then you can now make your own brand under Fenty Beauty or under Iman or under whatever brand, and you say inclusive beauty, or they put a magazine and they have black people, then they say inclusive beauty. It didn't really get that much of a conversation because there's not much energy or truth, let me say truth, in there. What's really the conversation? That you put a black girl in a magazine? Clap. Yes, it's nice for us to see people like us, but for what purpose? What's the end goal? Why? So that we can buy more makeup? And then we should be proud of ourselves as a people, as a culture, or as a nation, that we are the ones that spend 3 to 8 times as much more on makeup and skincare. What does that tell you? That we're confused. What is the savings account of an African woman? Nothing compared to that of a white woman. Because we're spending it on beauty.
Everything.
Because we don't own our beauty. And it's not because we don't have a brand name called Iman or Fenty. That's great. Or there was one, Fashion Fair.
Yeah.
Those are all iconic. They were necessary and it's needed. But the reason that we are lost and confused and we need to be included, when I say included,
It's down to the formulation. That manufacturing company has to care about black skin. That's where they show that the care comes from. That's the only time where you can really get colors, where you can really get skincare that takes care of your skin to actually keep it even, because they are studying melanin skin. When you go to dermatologists, they don't study melanin skin except when it comes to rosacea and eczema and ringworm and dry skin. And melanin skin is totally different in its complexity, in the makeup, in the cells, in the layers. It's totally different. The saying that black skin didn't crack is very true, but it has started cracking because all the formulas that we are using from big name brands, you can't sue them. There's no legal whatever because it's a safe product, but it's not right for us. So we've learned it about our hairs, how to take better care of black hair. We understand their categories, 4A, 4B, 4C, and then maybe down to 3A, B, C if you're mixed race. We haven't done that for skincare, but it exists in skincare and nobody is doing it. So that's where cookie skin, comes in. And that's one of the things that has made me last this long and take it that seriously, because it's worldwide. Even the dark-skinned Indians, the dark-skinned Asians, if you don't get your skincare right, you know how it is. You wake up, and because the melanin has been watered down, nobody in Africa was this color. We were darker than dark. And we live in Nigeria. We see people selling pure water on the road, selling plantain chips and stuff. Are they fainting or having skin cancer because of the sun?
No.
Our skin is naturally designed. Melanin is designed to be a power source of solar. It's even now being used in solar on glass screens and in medical industry because of the power of melanin. Melanin is gold, not just as a saying, because it actually is gold. So all of this information has been kept secret from us. It's not that they don't know. They know. The main big cosmetica, they actually know about this, but they keep it from you. So what you don't know, you can't use it. Then they wake up one day and they sell you micellar water and hydra mist, and you're paying for water. So there's a whole lot when it comes to inclusive beauty that they have just masked and confused you and make Africa talk about only bleaching or only
because I was going to say that you're not contradicting as you yellow like this. You are talking about melanin.
Well, it's not my fault that I'm yellow.
That's my point. Everybody wants to look like you.
Yes, I was looking at her when she was talking about melanin. I was like, really, you? You talking about me and Uti here?
So they are different. So because of colonization, and I'm working on the documentary for this, because of colonization, there are now different shades, and that was, in my opinion, it was intentional to cause that diversity. But that's not even now the issue. We are where we are. The skin is the largest organ. People just say, oh, the skin is the largest organ, so you have to take care of it. No, the skin is the largest organ, so you must respect it. And you must appreciate it. But how can you appreciate something that you don't understand? And people say, oh, love your melanin. You can't keep telling me to love my melanin when I have not studied it, when I don't understand. Even dermatologists don't understand it. So I have 2 kids. My son had eczema. Eczema, I started noticing because people would come in. I started doing consultations as a result of seeing what was happening and seeing that, wow, I actually need to sit these people down, hear their problems, educate them what I know, but actually learn more, because what I'm seeing is sad and they are depressed. And women, if we don't get control of our beauty, a nation cannot grow, especially African nations. We say women are the backbone. It's not just backbone because we work harder. We inspire. In all religions, they women are the ones that prophesy and say, we repeat what men say. We inspire. If a woman is not happy, they say, happy wife, happy home, happy whatever. If a woman is not happy, whatever is coming out from her mouth is no good. But when a woman is happy, she's the biggest cheerleader of her friends, biggest cheerleaders of her sisters, biggest cheerleader, biggest supporter of her boyfriend, friend, of everybody. She would shout it loud. She would give that energy. She would inspire it. But when you don't feel secure in who you are, which is starting with how you look, how you feel, how you think others are judging you,
the head is not straight, you'll never have rest. And you're never going to think about anything bigger than, oh my God, do I look good enough? And I'm spending all my money on all this makeup and the next big thing.
You know what? Let's go on a very short break. When we come back from the break, I think Uti and Mani, they are ready for you. Stay with us.
Okay.
One day I'll jump out.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun.
Whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing beauty business and the impact inclusivity has had over the years in the beauty world. Now we have Leslie Okoye with us. And please remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So, Uti, over to you.
It's interesting to hear you talk about melanin. So I met you many moons ago. I know you won't remember. But one of my more recent encounters with you was one of your, I think I follow you on Instagram, and I got a notification one day that you were going live. And I usually wouldn't click on those things, but I clicked on this one on that day. And I came in just as you were talking about, it was like debunking skincare. So you mentioned a particular brand that was all the rave at the time, and you were like, you guys are just damaging the layer of your skin. Like, you don't need a toner. And I was like, what's she saying? Okay, I want to listen. But I learned a lot that day in dispelling some myths. And I think that I agree with you in the sense that some things are profitable for selling, which is why my question is not really about diversity in any way. It's a direct question. You just said that melanin is power. And the thing that you just talked about, I always often ask myself that these people that are in the sun day in, day out, right? They're not dying. But I see people today, even other skincare experts that claim that they focus on women of color, talk about sunscreen. And everybody must have sunscreen. In fact, now they're telling you you must reapply every 3 hours.
Thank you.
Sprays. The other day, I was watching a YouTube video. This woman puts on a full face of makeup. Then she's like, my sunscreen brand is fantastic. You can put it on makeup in the middle of a restaurant. She's with her cousins and friends. She's like rubbing makeup on. I'm like, am I wearing a different brand of makeup from you? Because if I did that, the whole thing would be a ripping mess. So if melanin is power and is powered by the sun, is this sunscreen thing just another cover-up and lie? Can we debunk that one so that I don't feel guilty when I don't wear sunscreen?
Okay, good, very, very good question. So everybody, it is good that everybody uses sunscreen. Do you understand? Sunscreen depends on your skin color. So the darker you are, the less sunscreen you would need. Now, there are two areas of sunscreen. The reason why people are screaming sunscreen. Remember, who is producing sunscreen? Caucasian companies, mainly. I'm not saying that there's no black-owned manufacturer. There might be one or two or whatever, but we're getting many of them from Caucasian or Asian lighter skin companies, right? So they have issues with the sun. Their skin is not as thick as a darker skin person. If we take a pore right here, not pore, pinch her skin, pinch my skin, we have thinner skin compared to both of you. The darker you are, the thicker your skin is. And what happens with melanin is that it's like little soldiers on in your skin, the cells. The sun activates it, depending on how hot it is, depending on how long you're out there, and all the soldiers come and barricade So that's what people call a suntan. White people want a suntan. White people's skin is thinner. The sun also dries you up if there's no humidity. Remember, Africa, we have a lot of humidity at the same time as well as the sun. And some areas of Africa are more dry. So using sunscreen should just be according to discretion. If you are going to lay down in Saint-Tropez and it is July or August, please use sunscreen if you're going to bake in the sun. If you're not baking in the sun and you're indoors the way you're indoors, you don't have to use sunscreen. If you're fully covered, if you are bothered about the caste system, meaning you want to look as if you have never stepped outside to even just go and maybe pick up the newspaper or see small sun.
I don't do sun.
I don't do sun, like you're just a queen and you're just fanning you inside your house. Then yes, you can be applying sunscreen 24/7 so that your melanin will never be activated. Do you understand? However, rule of thumb, the lighter you are, your color you are, my color, we need more sunscreen than you guys. But do I believe that I, Leslie, must wear sunscreen 24/7? No. I don't believe so.
Manny, but so I suffer from sunburn, and trust me, it takes a while for the thing to clear. So that's why I just try to avoid, but it's not like I wear sunscreen every time. But the days I know that I'm going to be out for a very long time,
I agreed. I mean, because I tan as well, but I just see that all of a sudden, from nowhere, it was like this wave of you must wear sunscreen, you must buy sunscreen. Well, sunscreen isn't cheap.
So let's talk about the business part of all of these narratives, because if I hear you clearly, some people have successfully sold a narrative, and that's why their business is doing exceptionally well in the beauty industry, because people are cashing out. The beauty world, I can't even quantify how much trillions it turns over, right? And again, now Africa is really like the focus, of this beauty companies, the big names, right? Unlike before.
They're coming in here, they're camping in our homes, and they're selling us first makeup. You all remember, when did we start doing face beats? Was it not Instagram?
Yes, so.
All of a sudden, we're seeing you must put
beat on a daily.
Basically, it's not even about business. The amount of foundation plus concealer plus powder. Oh, and you need the angle brush.
See why I don't do all this.
You need the angle brush. You need
like
there's nothing wrong with doing it. We all have makeup on. But I'm saying, what is the purpose many people are doing? They show that before and after.
Every day.
If our skin was on point, if we weren't breaking out, if we weren't suffering from as much hyperpigmentation as we suffer, we would not need all this makeup.
But Africans, so many people still have their faces on point, like clear skin, but they still want to wear makeup
every day.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
So.
A lot of people that come for consultations to me and come with the issues is because they started on this skincare journey, or first of all, wrong skincare. So they are using foreign brands. They're not using any bleaching cream or mixed cream. They just wanted their best skin, like, oh, I'm in my 30s now, or let's say I just want to have glass skin. You hear that glass skin or dewy skin or poreless. I don't want any pores or whatever. So they go and do a standard facial that they thought was standard, or a chemical peel. You've all heard of chemical peels. Chemical peel is not ideal. The recommendations for chemical peel abroad should not be the same for an African or a woman of color that lives in Africa that doesn't have winter. If you don't live abroad where there is winter, and it shouldn't be done during summer months, it should only be done during winter months, questions should be asked as to the strength of it. The length of time that it's left on your face should not be the same time as being left on a white person's face. So truly, if that person doing it is not experienced, doesn't care, I wouldn't even say experienced, meaning if I were white and I did a black person's face, just like that's happened with laser, doing laser, and people have gotten burned, and they have to make laser for black people. If I have done that and I care about my clients, and I know that I'm living in a country where there are lots of black people, this person complains I burnt her face, that person complains that there's hyperpigmentation, there's something wrong with that formula. There's something wrong with, because I do it on white people, everything's fine. Exfoliation is the real demon in beauty. That word, exfoliation. You all have heard it. People are using face polish. People are using sponges. The sponges you guys use should not be. There's a whole dynamics. The soap, especially liquid soap, should be thrown away. I don't use liquid soap in my house. That's what's causing a lot of eczema, especially with your kids. Then
you're breaking tables.
Then certain procedures like hammam. I lived in an Arab country for 5 years, in Tunisia for 5 years. I started cookie skin while I was there. Started thinking about it, started testing my products. The Arab women don't scrub their body until only once a year or twice max during the winter. So they are not they not the owners of the hammam? And they are not hammamming every month.
The body.
They are not hammamming every month. So people are like, my skin is so dry, I did a hammam, I'm going for another. And I'm looking at them like, there's almost no skin to hammam. Have you felt that sponge? Why do you want to hurt yourself? Why do Africans feel that pain is beauty?
They will tell you that it's easy for you to see. After all, you are glowing. You don't need to make any effort. But I want to say that
I've made many people glow. It's not about glow. See, you say I'm glowing. Is it my color that is glowing? Anybody can glow.
Yes.
So, because you know now the new trend with business and beauty, you see any small thing you see on Instagram, they sit down on one lovely couch. There's
an
ivy there. You know, somebody say vampire facial.
What's that about?
You know, so there's so much going on. So is it that how harmful are these things? Because I don't want to believe that these things are 100% good for us, but we're just absorbing everything.
The question, anything can be harmful. It's almost like saying how harmful is alcohol. The idea on its own is not a harmful thing. Question is it what you need? Everybody should know what they need. Inclusive beauty and the scream and the conversation about inclusivity begins in the education. And the fact that, you see how you've all heard about sunscreen. Why are we not talking about, you mentioned something about skin tones. You know, you said, oh, the golden skin tones, I think you said blue, bluish skin tone. Why do you even know about blue when you're a black person? For black people, it's red, yellow. And an in-between. And our skin tone is extremely important, not just for the development of makeup, but for the development of products, skincare products. Because a red skin tone cannot get more than half a shade to a shade lighter. And when they get dark, you can't really notice it. It's what Africans call dull skin.
Even when they use the glutathione?
Even when they use all things. A yellow undertone can get 1 shade, 2 shades, 3 shades lighter. They can also get darker easily. And then they can stay neutral. That's the magic of melanin. So our melanin cells respond to certain things. And if it's natural, let's say just like sun, you're going under the sun, Africans are protected. The darker you are protected. So I'm not saying never use sunscreen, bake in the sun for 5 hours. Nobody's saying that. But if you have 30 minutes of sun, it will not kill you. It's actually, unless your skincare routine has been predominantly wrong. Let's say you want to hammam your skin today, use the hammam sponge morning and night. You know, we shower twice a day. Add black soap on top of the whole thing. Add, what's it called? Body polish or lightening organic cream on top of it. I mean, there's almost no skin by the time you go to the sun. So God knew that Africans lived in the equatorial place that has sun. So he gave us thicker skin and gave us the defense, which is called melanin, so that when that sun is there, it protects you like a shield.
So this idea to us that melanin is bad? Because everybody now is taking those IV glutathione.
You've answered the question already. Big Cosmetica.
Thank you.
And she has
I was
called
going to
this.
say, just like the big farms, we have the big costs.
I just even want to come back home because what you mentioned a lot of the things that are selling like hot cake now. When Cookie Skin first started, there were so few Nigerian brands. So today, you can't throw a rock on Instagram and not hit a new one. Everybody is making cream and claiming it's organic. It's fantastic. Let's even come away from the bleaching, guys, because we've diversified, right? There's a lot of people claiming to do good stuff.
Organic.
So What is your view on that? Because it obviously sounds that you've got a lot of experience. You've taken the time to understand the makeup of our skin. Do you feel that there are other beauty entrepreneurs out there that are doing what you're doing, or are they just capitalizing? So we now have Nigerian Cosmetica.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other person that understands it the way I do? No. To be honest, there isn't. I lived in America for a long time. I've been there, spoken to dermatologists there. Tunisia, same thing. Tunisia even understands. First of all, they ban hydroquinone. And then second of all, they don't overdo the way we do it here.
Yeah.
You know, it's about love-hate of the melanin. And I don't blame our African people because we had slavery, we had colonialism. That really did a number on us, and it was intentional. All right? But then we're now educated, and it's now 2022, so we can't keep blaming anybody else. It's about somebody needs to come out, just like you had Madam C.J. Walker understood hair. We need somebody that understands skin to break it down. And nobody has broken it down because they don't understand it. You can have all the degrees of dermatology. They don't understand. So even with acne, we're not even now just talking about color. There's a reason why a lot of us are breaking out more than usual and having adult acne. You should not be having that much adult acne if you're not taking hormones. Do you understand? If your hormones are balanced already. Then somebody says, the biggest one is hormonal imbalance. Oh, they said it's hormonal imbalance for my acne. Yeah, I get all these things, hormonal imbalance. And, you know, I said, okay, let's just come in for a consultation. Because first I have to see the skin. I'm not just going to dispute it. Hormonal imbalance that people are saying is your acne. It's not. What's happening is your skin, I'm looking at your skin. Our skin is thicker than white people's skin. Anybody that has pimples here, cheek, basically there's nothing on your cheek per se. That's when you know that it's normal pimples. It's lower and it's to the chin. All parts of our body have hair. Hairy people, Africans tend to have thicker hair. It's curlier. Because of your hair growth, it is stuck somewhere and doesn't come out easily because our skin is thicker. So if you're now even using products that are not designed for you, white people care about wrinkles. So their products have a lot of fillers. Beyond the fact that they have wrinkles, I mean that is with fillers and it's because of wrinkles, they don't have natural ingredients. So they have to make synthetic fillers. They can claim that it's about sustainability or whatever. But those things end up blocking your pores. They're not light enough for your skin to breathe. So the routine that people are copying, that you're seeing online, it's for people. They say, layer it's 5-step, 10-step, 12-step, Korean, all. Your skin is not your skin. That's just it. So it doesn't seem to work out. So you have people that have spent 2 million naira. I have consultations of people worldwide. I had somebody coming from Australia. She watched the documentary I was on Netflix, Skin. She said, sorry, please, you just sounded like you knew what you were talking about. And she's an Australian, but mixed race Australian. Nothing to do with Nigeria. She has her own skincare line that she's starting. All natural. And you have a lot of people going into all natural and they do body scrub. I'm 100% against body scrub.
On that note, we have run out of time. Let's quickly take messages. Hey, we thought we were going to talk for 2 minutes.
Right. Quickly. So this one says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters, or what are you saying, #ways. The topic is beauty business and impact of inclusivity. Your guest made mention of women loving their skin and respecting it. That is a very strong point and should be put into consideration. To maintain a very strong beauty, women must know what to apply on their skin. Bleaching does not beautify the skin, it destroys it. My dear beautiful sister, it's a very big thank you, Daniel. I'll leave it because we don't have time, but thank you so much, Daniel.
Inclusive beauty is becoming table stakes for the beauty industry, and it is not supposed to be so because some of them actually went to do surgery and so on from Ondo State.
Oh my goodness, we ran out of time, but thank you so much. I think we need to have a conversation.
I think so.
Because we just scratched.
There's too many questions. I have so many questions for her.
We didn't even touch anywhere. We were just somewhere. But thank you so much. We've run out of time.
Thanks for having me.
That's what happens when you're doing a 1 hour show. But I think we've had a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you, Manny and Uti. So before we go, ensure you follow us on Instagrams at Wayshow Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. By decolonizing the industry is saying goodbye to backward beauty standards and adopting an inclusive conception of beauty itself, and only then will we have an industry that is inclusive in its focus, product creation and representation. So, I mean, Leslie had said right from formulation, that's when the consideration should start. All right, we'll see you guys live on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akuga. Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, may have embarked on a bumpy ride to next year's presidential election with widespread disapproval of the party's violation of its power rotation principle in the conduct of its presidential primary election won by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Political analysts in the Niger Delta, where the presidential nomination has bred widespread resentment, fear that with the choice of Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as Atiku's running mate, the bumpy road leading to 2023 appears even jumpier for the PDP. Since 1999, Nigeria's oil-rich South-South region has been under the firm grip of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. So much so that people from the region have always voted overwhelmingly for the party in all elections from 1999 till date. Will the 2003 election follow the same pattern? While some political observers believe the region will always vote PDP no matter the circumstances, others think that certain strategic mistakes of the PDP in the selection of its presidential and vice presidential candidates will jeopardize its winning chances not just in the South-South region but the entire country at large. The emergence of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as presidential candidate of the PDP in May this year appears not to have gone down well with some party members in Nigeria's south. Their seeming dissatisfaction with Atiku's emergence is informed by the party's time-honored zoning principle, which rotated the presidency between the north and south while it held sway as Nigeria's ruling party between 1999 and 2015. Disenchanted party members wonder why the PDP chose to jettison its zoning principle in readiness for next year's presidential election that will most likely be keenly contested. In fact, the backlash trailing the PDP presidential ticket has been worrisome. Elder Gosde Orubebe, former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, immediately resigned his membership of the party over the emergence of Atiku as the presidential flag bearer. The former minister, who maintained that the PDP was not ready to regain power in 2023, also expressed solidarity with Governor Nyesom Wike for his commitment to the ideals of the party, as well as his impressive outing at the presidential primaries. Soon after Orubebe's resignation, Kasima Fegwa, a former commissioner of information in Edo State and one-time political ally of Atiku, dumped the PDP for what it describes as the manipulative process that produced the party's presidential flag bearer, which did not respect the zoning principle. Executive Director of Finance and Administration at the Delta State Oil and Minerals Areas Producing Development Commission, DESOPADEC, Chief John Nani, says Atiku's emergence is in line with PDP's power rotation principle.
The strategy of PDP is to see to it that PDP has produced Saturnals as president of this country for 14 years out of the 16 years. Now North needs to produce the president. Why APC? They've gotten 8 years, and the 8 years is a Northerner. Therefore, the president needs to come from the South. So it's a different ideology, it's a different thinking entirely.
A political analyst, Sonny Okocha, who believes the PDP erred by giving its presidential ticket to a northern candidate, says a popular and politically savvy running mate will have doused the growing tension in Nigeria's south.
The capacity that Wike would have mustered, Okowa do not have such capacity. And that is why South-South people are pained.
Indications are rife that the emergence of Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as vice presidential candidate of the PDP may have fanned the flames of resentment greeting the party's presidential ticket ahead of next year's election. Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, governor of oil-rich Delta State and chairman of South-South Governors Forum, had on the 11th of May 2021 hosted the Southern Governors Forum, which met in Asaba, the Delta State capital, to demand power shift to the South at the expiration of President Buhari's tenure in 2023. They met again 8 weeks later in Lagos, where they reinforced their position for a Southern president in 2023.
Unanimously agreed that the presidency of Nigeria be rotated between Southern and Northern Nigeria, and resolved that the next president of Nigeria should emerge from the South.
It, however, came as a rude shock to many that Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, who was privy to resolutions of the Southern Governors Forum, decided to abandon the collective decision of his colleagues and support Atiku, a northern candidate, with whom he now shares a joint presidential ticket. In his reaction, Chief Edwin Clark, leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum PANDEV, took a swipe at Okowa for accepting to run with Atiku, describing his action as selfish. In a statement issued on behalf of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, Edwin Clark accused Governor Okowa of spending extensive sums of money to lobby for the position. According to the statement of the Southern and Middle Belt leaders, and I quote, "We therefore reject Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and his vice presidency and leave him to his lot. But let the world know that this is a betrayal of the highest order," unquote. Port Harcourt-based legal practitioner Festus Oguche agrees with Chief Edwin Clark that Okowa's action was selfish and unconscionable.
Some of us look at it as being a display of opportunism. I believe that the Asaba meeting was very, very strong enough, and the declarations made went to the annals of history. Now, look at Okowa. He's the vice presidential candidate to a northern presidential candidate. How does that make him feel?
In his reaction, Governor Okowa affirmed that he did not betray southern Nigeria, as he was only following the dictates of his party that agreed to throw the presidential ticket open. Chief John Nani agrees with Governor Okowa.
Machiavelli's principle says that you get the power by all means, but do good with that power that you have gotten to the people. I don't see any betrayal in it.
While the PDP has settled for a northern presidential candidate, the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has produced Bola Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State in southern Nigeria, as its presidential candidate. For the APC, the choice of a southern presidential candidate was arrived at after several consultations with relevant stakeholders. It will be recalled that APC governors in the north, led by Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, had resolved that the presidency be zoned to the south to reflect equity in the leadership of the country.
In the interest of unity, in the interest of peace, we recommended that, and also justice. Our recommendation is that the next president should come from the south.
Zoning the presidency to the south appears to be a political masterstroke of the APC that leaves the PDP in a quandary. Since 1999, the PDP has drawn copious strength from the South-South geopolitical zone, which for the first time produced a vice president in the person of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who eventually ruled Nigeria as president between 2010 and 2015. Festus Oguche feared that the PDP is heading for an imminent defeat without the support of the South-South geopolitical zone in 2023.
What PDP had done during the primaries, the intrigues involved, the manipulations, the betrayals also will go a long way in reducing or diminishing the chances of the party clinching the presidency in 2023.
As the APC and the PDP strategizes on how to win the 2023 presidential election, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki says the current disenchantment of the populace with the two political parties may just cost them victory at the election. According to Governor Obaseki, Nigerians are already looking beyond the APC and the PDP for alternatives.
The level of disenchantment with the existing parties, I'm sure in all our homes here, we have so many people now who call themselves obedience. I don't know whether you have them in your house. Just ask them, all those children, where are you, which party are you for? They say obedient. Do you understand? They don't want us. They are not talking about APC or PDP. They are looking for alternatives.
As revealed in a recent update released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Nigeria's South-South geopolitical zone has the highest number of new intending voters who have completed the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise conducted nationwide. The latest data shows that the South-South leads the pack with about 1.52 million newly registered voters, while the Southwest follows closely. The implication is that the South-South has transformed into a formidable political region that the PDP and the ruling APC, and indeed any other political party that intends to win the 2023 general election, cannot afford to relegate to the background. No doubt, power rotation is key in an evolving Nigerian democracy that is currently under the influence of religious and ethnic considerations. Political observers are asking if the 8-year rule of President Muhammadu Buhari, a northern Muslim, should be followed by a possible 8-year rule of another northern Muslim. As some Nigerians are saying, if the PDP wishes to brighten its chances of victory in the 2023 presidential elections, it must begin to find ways of convincing South-Southerners and indeed Nigerians that the country has come to a point where merit must now supersede ethnic and religious considerations in Nigeria's politics and governance.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In a related development, Governor Nyesom Wike, who came second at the presidential primary election of the People's Democratic Party PDP, has continued to play host to prominent political figures across the country. In recent weeks, the Rumepiricom country home of the Rivers State governor has become a mecca of some sort as leaders of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC and opposition parties continue to troop in to confer with him. Those who have visited Governor Wike in Port Harcourt include Governors Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State and Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. Others so far hosted by Governor Wike in Port Harcourt are presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, and former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose. While Elder Gosdale Rubebe, who recently dumped the PDP, went to express solidarity with Governor Wike in Port Harcourt, PDP caucus in the Senate, led by Senate Minority Leader Senator Philip Aduda, also held a meeting with Governor Wike recently in Port Harcourt. Earlier, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, also held private talks with the Rivers State governor. While the agenda of several political meetings held with Governor Wike recently is not in public domain, speculations are rife that some of the recent meetings with the Rivers State governor are overtures of political alliance in the build-up to the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. Governor Wike, who leaves no one in doubt that he is dissatisfied with the conduct and outcome of the PDP presidential primaries, has however maintained a studied silence, leaving many in utter perplexity about his next political move in the days ahead.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Niger Deltans have been urged to shun political parties and candidates whose manifestos do not take cognizance of the urgent need to restructure the Nigerian Federation. Speaking at a one-day conference organized recently by civil society organizations in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, leaders of thought in the Niger Delta maintain that it will take a restructured federation to address structural imbalances that have hindered development not only in their region, but across the Nigerian Federation.
Ahead of next year's general elections in Nigeria, leaders of thought in the Niger Delta met recently in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, to reflect on the state of the nation as it affects their region. At the meeting dubbed Niger Delta Alternatives Convergence, it was collectively agreed that not much has been done by successive governments to address the challenges of environmental degradation, livelihood losses, infrastructure deficit, widespread poverty and underdevelopment plaguing communities in the Niger Delta. According to National Chairman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Senator Emmanuel Ebok Essien, the Niger Delta remains largely underdeveloped because the federal government over the years has been concerned more with exploitation of the region's crude oil and gas resources than its development.
People are only interested in coming to Niger Delta region to tap the resources. They are not interested in the development of the Niger Delta region, nor interested in its people. It is only when we come together as a people that people will take us serious and we can take back what is rightly our own, which is our resources.
Participants at the Uyo meeting had cause to revisit the clamor for a restructured federation as general elections get underway early next year. To be precise, they maintain that a restructured federation will necessarily decentralize governance and embrace fiscal federalism to guarantee financial autonomy for Nigeria's federating states, encourage them to fully exploit their individual resources and develop at their own pace. Professor Godini Dara and Inuru Wills, a former commissioner for environment in Bayelsa State, were of the opinion that the 1999 Constitution, in its form, does not guarantee a new deal for the Niger Delta and indeed other regions of the country in the next political dispensation.
Even apartheid South Africa, their laws were not as bad as this one. We've been living with it since 1995. The structure of the Nigerian Constitution makes the president an emperor. Buhari is the most powerful president in the universe. He has 450 ministries and agencies to preside over. He is to appoint the MDs of those 450. He has power of life and death over us. In that constitution, the state level is a smaller version of it. The governor also has all the powers. The reason why Nigeria exists at all is because of Niger Delta oil. And Nigeria is the only country in the world that has colonized its own people, that is, have used military force to take over the land and resources of a portion of its own country.
The Constitution is an agreement between peoples. An agreement is never signed by one person. There's only one signature on the 1999 Constitution. So it's not a constitution, it's not an agreement.
In response to several decades of administrative neglect in the Niger Delta, Former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Obong Victor Atta, and Nimo Basi, Executive Director of Health of the Mother Earth Foundation, enjoined Niger Deltans to reserve their votes for political parties that are truly committed to effect social engineering in the country to promote sustained peace, security and development in the Niger Delta and other parts of the country.
We don't need any long or sharp knife to cut anybody's throat. What we need is your PVC to make sure you vote in people that are going to re-engineer this country. The word you use today is restructuring, but believe me, it needs full re-engineering. We even sent a person there. We have all our ministers, but they couldn't do anything. Why could they not do anything? Because the framework does not permit you, even with best intention in the world, to do anything. Therefore, what I think we need to change is the framework.
So we want politicians to speak up. Are you conscious of the environmental problem in Niger Delta? And if you are you going to act on it? What are you going to do? So that they don't just tell us they're going to build a school, build a clinic, build a tower 1 kilometer road, put electric poles. If we don't have a clean and safe environment, no matter what you do, that is just futile.
Participants at the Niger Delta Alternatives Convergence agreed to compile key socio-ecological issues affecting the region into a single advocacy document to be called the Niger Delta Manifesto for Ecological Justice. They intend to mobilize communities in the region to buy into the manifesto with a view to using it as their bargaining power in next year's presidential election in Nigeria. Inside the Niger Delta, Azikiel Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. Azikiel Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development. Everything home, all in one place. Visit Home Options today at 22 Aba Port Harcourt Express Road, Port Harcourt, River State, or call 080-998-08678 or 080-331-34055 or visit our website www.homeoptionsng.com.
Communities in Brass and Nembe local government areas of Bayelsa State now have cause to celebrate as Governor Doyediri recently flagged off construction of the Nembe Brass Road that was first awarded in the 1940s. While traditional rulers in Nembe Kingdom are delighted that the revived road construction project will open up their communities for accelerated development, Governor Doyediri says it was undertaken to leave a legacy in the annals of history.
In the 1940s, the British colonial administration conceived the idea of constructing a road to link scores of isolated coastal communities in Nembe and Brass kingdoms. For inexplicable reasons, the project remained on the drawing board at the end of British colonial rule in Nigeria. In post-colonial Nigeria, oil-rich Brass Kingdom became the melting pot of the oil and gas industry, making it the preferred destination for key national economic assets such as the Ajip Oil Export Terminal, the ongoing Brass Liquefied Natural Gas Project, and the Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Project.
This made it imperative for the government to revisit the Nembe Brass Road construction project, for which several unsuccessful contracts were awarded in the past. The huge turnout of communities in Nembe and Brass kingdoms, including their traditional rulers at the recent flag-off of the Nembe Brass Road construction project by Governor Doye Diri, speaks volumes about the significance of the project. King Alfred Diete Spiff, the Amayanabo of Twom-Brass, a former military administrator of Old River State who awarded the project in the 1970s at the cost of 3 million naira, says he's happy to be alive to witness its revival several decades after it was first conceived.
For the love of the people of Brass local government, the miracle governor has put his hand to the plow, and I know there will be no looking back. We'd like to say thank you very much and to say thank God for his mercies.
The Amayanabo of Okwama Brass, His Royal Majesty King Ebitimi Banigo, and King Edmond Dakoru, the Amayanabo of Nembe Kingdom, equally expressed delight at the commencement of work on the Nembe Brass Road construction project.
We, as the fathers of the lands that are present here, are thankful to the federal government and to the state government under His Excellency Doye Diri for this brave, bold, and to our mind, what I call a generational project.
We want all our governors, whatever projects that were initiated and not completed by previous administrations should be taken up and completed for the people's use. And so our gratitude goes to the federal government and to the state government, and in particular to the state governor who has initiated this project. We pray for him, God will give him more wisdom and more zeal and more commitment.
The recent flag-off of the first phase of the Nembe Brass Road construction project, which covers a total length of 21 kilometers, awarded at the cost of 54.1 billion naira, is consistent with Governor Doye Diri's campaign promise to open up Bayelsa East and other senatorial districts of the state for even and rapid development. Before this time, the prosperity governor of Bayelsa State had flagged off the Igbedi Road construction project and the Southern Ijaw Link Bridge, awarded some 60 years ago. Governor Doye Diri says all revived road projects will be completed by his administration, which is poised to leave its footprints in the sands of time.
These are the legacy projects that will speak for us and for our children. And I'd like to tell you today, yes, the economy is experiencing downturn. Yes, the value of our currency is unmistakably at its lowest ebb. Yes, everything around us is looking gloomy. But the construction of this road, we will not stop.
The Nembe Brass Road construction project, which being undertaken by the Bayelsa State government in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, is one of 3 major roads designed to open all 3 senatorial districts of Bayelsa State for rapid development. It is being constructed in a very difficult terrain dominated by virgin forest and swampy lands. The huge challenges that will be encountered during its construction notwithstanding, Governor Doye Diri says he's determined to deliver the Nembe Brass Road on record time.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And with that report, we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN-TV Nigeria. Until next week, I am Mahmoud Akuga, thanking you for staying tuned. Bye for now.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTvAfrica, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
On Plus TV News now, President Buhari vows to punish perpetrators of chivalrous attack, says Nigeria will know peace. Senator Peter Nwaboshi jailed for 7 years. More than 21 people killed in Russian missile strikes in Ukraine. Hello and welcome. Good evening, I'm Tolu Ojomi and this is the news now. President Buhari has described Thursday's attack in Shiro local government area of Niger State as a direct assault on Nigeria, which will not go unpunished. He condemned the attack by bandits on a mining site in the state in a statement on Friday by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity Garba Shehu. The attack reportedly left 13 policemen and civilians killed, with several missing, including 4 Chinese nationals. The terrorists also ambushed a team of soldiers who responded to a distress call. President Muhammadu Buhari has also expressed appreciation to Portugal for the deployment of weapons and training of military personnel and ensuring peace in Africa. The president's spokesman, Malam Graba Show, in a statement said Buhari gave the commendation at a state dinner held in the National Palace, Ajuda, Lisbon, the Portuguese capital. Buhari lauded President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa for deploying troops for peacekeeping in the Central African Republic, monitoring political developments, and providing assistance to some countries in Africa, including Equatorial Guinea, Cape Verde, and Mozambique. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has noted that the social media has become a double-edged sword and that its negative application has made some countries adopt stringent measures against the users. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Garba Shehu, said Buhari made the comments at a meeting with representatives of Nigerians in Portugal and at a joint news conference with his Portuguese counterpart, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. At the meeting with Nigerians, encouraged them to always strive to promote the unity of Nigeria through the social media. After 94 days of the abduction of 61 Kaduna-Abuja ill-fated train passengers, the families and friends of the kidnapped victims have vowed to block major roads and occupy key government facilities in Kaduna and Abuja in protest for immediate rescue of their loved ones. PlusTV correspondent Habila Darufai filed in this report as presented from our studios.
Since the 28th of March, when the bandits attacked AK-49 train and abducted 61 passengers, families and friends have not stopped counting the days. The bandits released 11 out of the 61 victims of the abducted train passengers on Saturday, June 11, with 50 hostages yet to be released. The gunshot at one of the victims by the bandits draws public outcry for the federal government to hasten negotiations for the release of their hostages. Speaking in Kaduna on behalf of the families of the victims, Dr. Abdulaziz Attar expressed worries over their loved ones still languishing in the forest with snake bites and reptiles, noting that the gunshot injuries sustained by victims in captivity are disheartening. He stressed that families will be staging physical protests in Kaduna and Abuja to sit down and occupy government facilities until their loved ones are rescued.
We plan to now have physical protests taking place in Kaduna and Abuja. For those of us in Kaduna, we're going to be in Kaduna, Abuja. The activity will start on Tuesday. We are going to have physical protests along major roads in Kaduna. We plan to occupy some key government facilities.
Life has been devastating. I can't even begin to go through them again right now because it will just stir up a lot of emotions, and it has been a very difficult time for my family. It has been really terrible. I think this has been the most trying times in our lives. The only hope and appeal is just to see our loved ones back. My mom has been in captivity for 94 days now. I don't know what state she's in. I don't know how she's eating, how she's sleeping.
This sad event had dramatically disturbed the condition of affected family. Children are left to cry every blessed day, with one question being when is mommy coming back and when is daddy coming back home. But the question we're still asking every blessed day is, how long do we have to wait for this horrible day to end? We pray for the release of our loved ones in good health. We pray the president, for once, the president should listen, please.
They urged the federal government to prioritize the security of the lives and property of all Nigerians as its primary responsibility. Among those in captivity are 85-year-old grandmother and 3-year-old kids.
As part of activities to mark the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2022, the leadership of the Nigerian Army today held a special Juma prayer where they offered prayers to God for the unity and well-being of the nation. The Juma was held at the 34th Artillery Brigade Central Mosque in Obenze, Owerri West Local Government Area of Imo State, with top military officers and their families unanimously praying to God. The Chief Imam, Colonel Sani Bello, in his sermon, called on all Muslim faithful to imbibe the culture of unity and shun every act of hatred and wickedness towards fellow humans.
For the past 159 years of existence of the Nigerian Army, we have been celebrating every year, and this is another year that we are celebrating. So we gathered here together to pray in the Islamic way. The same way on Sunday there will be Christian service where we also pray in the Christian way, so that we pray for the Nigerian Army, pray for the nation, for the unity of the nation, and pray for our troops that are everywhere performing for their safety and for them to achieve what took them to wherever they are operating. Thank you. Indeed, since the coming of the Chief of Army Staff, he has put in a lot of effort in the area of welfare of troops, in terms of their accommodation, in terms of their allowances, in terms of their salaries. Everything that has to do with welfare of the troops has been the topmost priority of the Chief of Army Staff. Indeed, religion is also part of welfare, and the Chief of Army Staff has continued to improve on infrastructure in terms of religious places of worship like mosque, churches all over in our barracks, to improve the spiritual situation of our troops, which will also help them in performing their duties.
The Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal today convicted and sentenced Senator Peter Wabashi, senator representing Delta North Senatorial District at the National Assembly, to 7 years in prison, along with two companies, Golden Touch Construction Projects Limited and Swimming Electrical Limited. This was contained in a statement from the EFCC, which prosecuted the case. The EFCC had challenged the judgment of Justice Chukwujeko Eneke of the Federal High Court, which on June 18, 2021 discharged and acquitted the defendants of a three-count charge of fraud and money laundering. The FCC had arraigned the three defendants over the acquisition of a property named Guinea House, Marine Road in Apapa, Lagos, for 805 million naira. Part of the money paid to the vendor, precisely a sum of 322 million naira, transferred by Swimming Electrical Limited on behalf of Wabashi and Golden Touch Construction Project Limited, was alleged to be part of proceeds of fraud. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the release of the official details of David Nwamini to Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice. Justice Inyang Eko, who gave the order in the judgment delivered today, directed the Nigeria Immigration Service, the National Identity Management Commission, and two commercial banks to release Nwamini's details in their possession to the couple. This followed an originating summons filed by Senator Ekweremadu and his wife through their counsel, Adegboyega Awumolo. The couple are being detained by the United Kingdom authorities over allegations of conspiring to bring a child to Britain for organ harvesting, with Nwamini said to be the victim. Following their arrest by the London Metropolitan Police, they appeared before a UK court which ordered that they should be remanded in custody till July 7, while investigations continue into the allegations against them. Although the Met Police said Nwamini was 15, the NIS said it issued an international passport indicating his age as 21 after due process. In a bid to clear his clients of the allegations, Awumolo approached the court in Abuja seeking an order directing the NIMC to produce a certified true copy of the biodata of David Okwo Nwamini. Chairman House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the implementation of petroleum products subsidy regime between 2017 and 2021, Honorable Ibrahim Aliyu, has assured Nigerians of its resolve to put the national interest first while carrying out the assignment. Honorable Aliyu, who gave the assurance during the media chat in Abuja, assured Nigerians that the national assignment will be carried out without recourse to any interference from highly placed people in the country. He explained that the ad hoc committee was mandated to determine the total and actual consumption of the products as reflected in the NNPC Limited's report for fuel subsidy. A House of Representatives member representing Ego Ikpoba Oka Federal Constituency of Edo State, Honorable Jude Ise Idehe, is dead. The lawmaker reportedly died today from an undisclosed ailment. He died in the early hours of the morning. Spokesman of the House, Representative Benjamin Kalu, confirmed the death of the lawmaker, but said the cause of the death was yet to be known. Adamawa State Governor Amhadu Umaru Fintiri has picked Professor Kaletapwa Faruta as his running mate for the 2023 governorship election. The choice of the professor as a running mate was in furtherance of the Fintiri administration commitment to the policy of promoting more women in governance. The running mate is currently the Vice Chancellor at Adamawa State University, Mubi. The Federal High Court sitting in Jalingo has commenced hearing on the suit seeking the disqualification of the governorship candidates of APC and that of the PDP in the state. The governorship aspirant under the banner of APC, David Kente, approached the court seeking the disqualification of Senator Emmanuel Bwacha in the forthcoming election, stressing that the claimed party primaries that allegedly produced him never held in line with Electoral Act. Also, a PDP governorship aspirant, Mr. Jerome Nyame, instituted a suit seeking the immediate disqualification of Kefas Agbu on the ground that he did not purchase the expression of interest and nomination forms of the party.
On the basis of the nature of process used to commence the action, it could be said that all the processes are in. But there are a series of anomalies with the case which we have brought to the attention of the courts. So, depending on how things go between now and the next adjourned date, the case may or may not proceed to outright hearing.
We're here today to reclaim the mandate of the professor before the Federal High Court. We are ready with our witnesses. We informed the court we have our witnesses to prove our case, but the defendants are obviously not ready because they brought some objections which they just brought this morning, and so the court cannot proceed with hearing as a result of their objection. So for us, we are ready to call our witnesses and prove our case. We will respond to the objection they have brought and proceed with the hearing of our case on the 14th day of July 2022.
Senator Bwacha came and said, I've been served, but he was pasted at the wrong place. So we said, don't worry, we are not going to start argument over where you were served or whether you were served. You are here now, isn't it? That's the important thing. Take the paper. Lawyer, take the paper. So he has taken the paper today in front of the court. Now, what has happened is, none of them has served us anything requiring us to respond.
To the court today, appeared under protest. He said, look, my noble lord, your order was not complied with, and an order of subsidiary service must be strictly complied with. It's an order of court. Every order of court needs to be obeyed. So that was the position. And my learned friend on the other side, the learned said, agree with us. I said, in that case, if he could be served in court. And I said, yeah, I could be served on court, but on one condition. If you're not going to apply for any adverse order against my client. And he gave us that undertaking that he would not, as a gentleman. And I agreed. And the court ordered that we should be.
INEC has made it clear that a total of 1,955,657 registered voters will participate in the July 16 Osun governorship election. Mr. Festus Okoye, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education, said this at a roundtable media executives dialogue on Friday in Osogbo. Okoye said that 15 political parties would participate in the election in all the 30 local government areas of the state. He, however, urged media executives in the state to ensure credible and fair reportage during the governorship election. We're still on INEC, and yesterday it insisted on the July 15 deadline for the submission of the list of governorship and the House of Assembly candidates by political parties. The deadline was set in line with the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 elections by INEC. It cautioned political parties that conducted valid governorship and House of Assembly primaries to adhere strictly to the timetable, as the nomination portal was shut down at 6 p.m. on July 15. The need to appreciate and support persons living with disabilities to ensure an inclusive society has been echoed. This call was made by the founder of Lamode Disability Foundation and Magazine, Sandra Odige, ahead of the Roundel event tagged Green October. Odige said the aim of the event, which is themed Beyond Disability, would showcase charity, fashion and awards to create awareness for persons with disabilities. She called on Nigerians to stop treating people living with disabilities with pity, but give them chances to be better persons.
Without persons living with disability, there is no Green October event. There is no initiative. We won't be here today. So they gave birth to the idea. They gave birth to the initiative while we are here for the conference. So the initiative this year is more than disability, right? We are saying persons with disability are more. They can do more. They can be great. They can do great things. Don't be limited, or do not judge them by their physical looks, by their any kind of physical disability. Instead, be patient and listen to them and look at what they can do in terms of their skills, their intelligence, their smartness, their creativity, right? Their ideas. Embrace them, and you'll be glad you did, because I work with most of them. Our graphic designer, most of the websites, they are amazing, they are skillful. So it's not, give them opportunity and they will do more than what's beyond their expectation. So that's what I'm saying, more than disability. Persons living with disabilities are more. They can do more. They can do great things. They can add value. They can be presidents. They can be CEOs. They can be everything that anybody can do. That's because they are limited. They are physically challenged. Doesn't mean that their skill is also challenged. They are amazing set of human beings. So because we keep saying that persons living with disabilities are just like what every one of us, we're living life differently. Let's continue to show them all the love and support that they deserve in our communities, in our place of work, in our neighborhood, in our small corners. Let's embrace this person. Let's don't shove them around and say, who's that one? What can she do, or what can he do? No, he can do great things, even more than what you expect.
Parents have been advised to not allow fear of stigmatization to prevent them from raising their voice against gender-based violence. This came from the Vice Principal of a government girls' secondary school, Lokua Mobi Pauline Kwaha.
Gender-based violence is becoming more worrisome than ever, and more people are becoming more concerned than before. Another plea has gone out, this time from the principal of Government Girls Secondary School, Lukua, to the parents. Kwaha made the plea at a one-day sensitization workshop organized by Sultan Foundation for Peace and Development, sponsored by Spotlight Initiative in GJSS Mumbai and GDSS Mumbai.
Most of the mothers and the fathers, they are away, leaving the children on their own. You don't know what is happening to your children now. And nowadays in school, you may think that the student is in the school, but to be candid, he is not there. Maybe he has gone somewhere else to do the things that you are not aware of it. At the end of the day, you ask the child, have you been to school? Yes. What were you taught in school? Our teacher, he didn't come to class today. So these are some of the problems. So this has given chance or open rooms for our children to do whatever they like, because the parents are not there with them.
She urged parents to also stand their grounds in the face of gender-based violence, regardless of the consequences, because it represents one of the odious breaches of the fundamental right of the human person. She urged parents and guardians to maintain a steady vigilance around their children, as most of the cases of GBV are perpetrated over death of supervision of wards. Also speaking, Amina Muhammad Ali, the program assistant of the foundation in Adamawa State, noted that the aim of the project is to work with relevant stakeholders, including traditional, religious, and youth leaders to end the menace which has become rampant over the years. She called on the general public, especially parents, not to hesitate in reporting any forms of gender-based violence, noting that the lethargic disposition of communities towards such cases makes perpetrators emboldened to commit more of such atrocities in the future. Speaking, Stella Izia, head girl of the school, advised the students to always speak out whenever someone molests them, regardless of his social position.
They should be giving a female their respect, that they should not be treating them carelessly. They should also be giving them their full right and their full choices.
Only thing that I have to say is the word of thanks, because since we have never attended this program, but today we are grateful for their help to us, because we achieve many things. They let us know things that we have not been heard before. We are saying thank you because of their help to us. May the Lord help them in their activities.
He thanked the Sultan Foundation for Peace and Development for organizing such an event, noting that it has expanded their horizon on the topic.
In the meantime, the Civil Society Coalition on Environmental Action says air pollution-related deaths will drastically worsen in Rivers State if there is no permanent solution to the menace of soot in the state. With the World Health Organization blaming air pollution for 4.2 million deaths across the globe annually, the group called for urgent intervention to save lives in the state. The report.
The Civil Society Coalition on Environmental Action warned the government and people of Rivers State that air pollution, popularly known as soot, troubling the state is not over. The group noted that the soot may not be visible due to the rainy season and recent efforts by the state governor to reduce activities of illegal refineries, but it's still very much around. Addressing newsmen on behalf of the coalition under the aegis of We You project, which was supported by Stakeholders Development Network, Boma Amadi urged the government to address the menace of soot urgently. He said since 2016, the issue has continued to pose grave danger to the health of residents of the state. Amadi highlighted some of the recommendations and steps to be taken to address environmental pollution in the state, with emphasis on air pollution.
The state and local governments should continue to clamp down on the activities of illegal refiners, as their activities constitute grave danger to the state. Security operatives are encouraged to work with community members to identify the locations of these illegal refineries and safely dispose of such products. The government is also advised to tackle the diverse economic challenges in the state, like unemployment and multiple taxation, to ensure that there are opportunities for young people to be gainfully employed and for small businesses to thrive.
While appealing to the government at all levels to intensify efforts aimed at bringing permanent solutions to soot, the coalition advised the government to tackle economic challenges in the state such as unemployment and multiple taxation to ensure there are opportunities for young people to be gainfully employed.
Gas flaring laws as contained in the 2021 Climate Change Act (CCA) need to be enforced in Rivers State and across the Niger Delta region. We call on NOSDRA and other related agencies to action this recommendation. Furthermore, we encourage candidates at the forthcoming gubernatorial elections in Rivers State to make this issue a priority on their campaign agenda.
This campaign is also to ensure that there is a sustainable approach, like the Rivers State House of Assembly, who has started enacting a law to pass the soot law. Though it needs to have to do with oil activity in the exclusive list. But the assembly, because the land belongs to the state, and so these things are done on the land, through that the state had to legislate on the issue of coal fire. So this call is also to ensure that that bill is signed into law.
They urged residents of the state to desist from indiscriminate dumping of waste and activities capable of contaminating the air, land, or water in the state.
A non-governmental organization says there is an urgent need for the empowerment of artisans in the society. Speaking while issuing empowerment forms to over 200 artisans in Owerri, the leader of the RBK Okafu Foundation said empowering the youth would reduce the high rate of unemployment in the country, as well as help with nation building. According to her, the empowerment is targeted at the youth of oil-producing communities in Imo State with the aim of assisting them to reduce crime and criminality in the area. Take a listen.
Some people are extremely talented. I see a lot of artwork, artisans. They produce a lot of beautiful, well-made products, but they can only produce them one or two at a time. What they need is help. What they need is more raw material, more access to getting more raw material so they can produce them at a higher quantity. You can paint a picture or make a belt or make a pair of shoes, but if you're making one and two at a time, you can't really make much progress. But when you're about to make 1,000 belts and you have market for those 1,000 belts, it becomes to make a big difference in your life.
The target of this program is to ensure that the youth of our federal constituency or Hajebu West are doing meaningful things. You know, and I do mine is the devil's workshop. And she wants to ensure that there is no idleness in anywhere. She wants to put smiles on their faces, and she wants them to be meaningful in the society in order to shun anything that is hooliganism.
Still to come, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed denounces allegations by Sudan that Ethiopian Defense Force executed 7 Sudanese soldiers. Details when we return. Please stay with us.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risks. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
We're now reaching to other parts of Africa. Sudanese security forces fired tear gas at protesters today near the presidential palace in Khartoum, a day after 9 people were reported killed during the largest anti-military rallies for months. Protest groups demanding a return to democratic rule have said they would organize an open-ended campaign of sit-ins and other peaceful actions in response to the deaths. Medics aligned with the protesters said the 9 people were mostly killed by gunfire from security forces in Khartoum and the adjoining cities of Omdurman in Bari. From Sudan, we go to Ethiopia, and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has denounced the allegation by Sudan that the Ethiopian Defense Force executed 7 Sudanese soldiers Addis Ababa on Tuesday denied its soldiers were in the area at the time of the skirmish. Sudan accused Ethiopia of capturing the soldiers on June 22 in Al-Fashaka, a fertile strip at the center of a bitter border dispute between the two neighbors. A court in Uganda released veteran opposition figure Kizza Besigye on bail today after spending 2 weeks in jail awaiting trial on charges of inciting violence. Besigye was detained on June 14 in the capital Kampala as he led protests against skyrocketing consumer prices and was charged with inciting violence the following day. His initial bail application made on the day he was charged was denied. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo has authorized Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to commence formal engagements with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) to support the country's economy. A statement issued by the country's information ministry said the order follows a telephone conversation between President Akufo-Addo and the IMF Managing Director, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva. Ghanaians in recent months have been feeling the pinch of record inflation and the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war amid cuts in government spending to avoid a full-blown debt crisis. We move outside Africa, and at least 21 people, including one child, have died in overnight Russian missile strikes on Ukraine's southern Odessa region. The State Emergency Service, DSNS, says 16 people were killed in a 9-story building hit by one missile in the village of Saikiva. Another 5 people, including a child, were killed in a separate strike on a holiday resort in the village. Russia has fired dozens of missiles on Ukrainian cities in the past few days. Today, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov again denied that Russia was hitting civilian targets. Norway today pledged €1 billion, that's $1.04 billion, to support Ukraine for the rest of 2022 and 2023. Norway's Prime Minister told a news conference with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Norway's Jonas Gahr Støre said the money was to help Ukraine support people in need, defend itself, and for reconstruction. Støre also said that Norwegian gas companies were already producing at their maximum, but managed to increase production a bit further since Russia invaded Ukraine and cut its gas supplies to Europe. Zelensky said that he agreed that international attention to the war in his country decreased lately, but that the war is posing challenges to other continents as well.
After 5 months of terrible war, that Norway will pledge its solidarity with the people of Ukraine. And we will pledge €1 billion in support to your country and your people for the remaining part of 2022 and for 2023. For that amount of money, we will support your efforts to provide humanitarian aid to people in need, to support your reconstruction, and to support your right to defend yourself. And after the war broke out and after Russia has been cutting their delivery of gas, many of my European colleagues have been, first of all, asking, will Norway stand by its obligations? And the answer is yes. Can Norway increase its production? And the answer is that we produce at our maximum, but we have been able to increase a bit further. So we would do everything we can to maintain our delivery of gas to Europe.
We have something for you now on border disputes. Turkey can re-export grain products like wheat, oat and barley from the Black Sea to countries in need after talks with Russia and Ukraine. President Tayyip Erdogan said this today, adding that he will discuss the matter with both countries in coming days. Speaking after today's prayers in Istanbul, Erdogan said his office was working with Kyiv and Moscow to set up calls with his counterparts and that 20 Turkish vessels were ready to take part in the potential shipments. Erdogan also added that Turkey only said yes for the invitation of Finland and Sweden, but there are prerequisites attached to it. The European Union is preparing emergency energy plans to deal with unreliable supplies of gas from Russia, European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said today. The plans are to be developed with the Czech Republic as it holds the rotating presidency of the European Union and will be laid out later this month. He complimented France, who led the previous presidency, for keeping EU member states united on issues related to Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
It is a tough time now. Russia is deliberately cutting us off partially of Russian gas, and we have to be prepared. And therefore, together with the Czech presidency, we are preparing emergency plans for Europe. There are 2 points that are important, that we have a very clear idea where, if we need curtailment, that we do it in a smart way. And secondly, a big topic, solidarity, energy solidarity. We are connected through pipelines. We have all these interconnectors. We can always have the reverse flows. So we need a good common plan that the energy flows or the gas flows where it is needed most. This will be presented by the Commission mid-July, approximately.
Up next, federal government approves work plan for concession of Zungeru hydroelectric power plant. We'll bring you that in business news after this short break. Please stay with us.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take?
I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science.
Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory?
The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, PlusTvAfrica, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
And in business, the National Council on Privatization, chaired by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, has approved the fast-tracking of work plan for the concession of the Zungeru hydroelectric power plants. The Council also approved the board composition and proposed governance framework for the sustainable management and payment of post-privatization liabilities of the power sectors. The liabilities are those transferred to the Nigerian Electricity Liability Management Company. According to a statement issued in Abuja on Friday by Osinbajo's spokesman Laolu Akande, the NELMCO board has the Minister of Finance as chairman, while members are the Minister of Power, the Director General, Bureau of Public Enterprises, and the Director General, Debt Management Office. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has said it had sold about $1 billion worth of natural gas to Portugal this year. I disclosed this during the Nigerian-Portugal Business and Trade Forum, which held on the sidelines of the state visit to Portugal by Nigeria's President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. Speaking at the forum, the Chief Executive Officer, NNPC, Mele Kari, said Nigeria had been supplying energy for Portugal for decades and also noted that there were ample opportunities to grow energy supply to Portugal. Now, the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund, which is managed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, has guaranteed 1.232 million loans given to farmers across the country.
The monetary value of the loans was estimated at 130.903 billion, as the Apex Bank also challenged farmers to join hands in revitalizing the country's $430 billion economy by enhancing value addition and diversification. At the National Award ceremony for the 2021 Best Farmer of the Year Award under the ACGSF held in Abuja, the chairman, ACGSF, Stephen Okon, said a total of 1,232,326 loans valued 130.903 billion naira were guaranteed from inception to May 2022, out of which 973,646 beneficiaries had repaid a total of 98.91 billion naira. The African Export-Import Bank has announced that Algeria has joined the bank as its 52nd member state. A statement by the bank's media contact Amadou Saleh in Abuja added Algeria's accession to the agreement to establish Afreximbank was formalized on June 8 by Presidential Decree number 22 to 212. Afreximbank member state rose from 38 in 2015 to 51 in 2021. With Algeria's accession, the bank is only 3 states short of achieving full continental coverage. And that's it on Business News. I'm Olamide Adeyemi, and the news continues.
Entertainment news is up next. Stay with us.
Tony Abraham's management has come out to deny the reports that her marriage to Kola Adeyemi is in crisis. The movie star's management released a press statement on Thursday, June 30th, 2022, clearing the air about the report. Abraham and Adeyemi got married in 2019. They welcomed their first child together that same year. Sammy Oposo has celebrated his wife, Ozioma, on their 12th wedding anniversary. The music star took to his Instagram page on Friday, July 1st, 2022, where he celebrated his wife. This is coming months after Sammy was caught in one of the messiest cheating scandals in the entertainment industry. A lady based in the United States of America with the alias African Doll accused him of impregnating her. According to the lady, she met him in Dallas, United States during one of his tours. They became close and started an affair, which led to the pregnancy. Things became sour after she informed Sammy that she was pregnant. Fuse has teased the East African remix of his hit single, Finesse, which features Tanzanian artist Rayvanny and The Zemba from Burundi. Fuse teased the remix on his Instagram page today, and it was gladly received by fans. Finesse instantly became a smash hit after the snippet went viral online. Fans in Eastern Africa will be particularly excited about the remix, as the single, which is already an international hit, is set to grow in popularity in the region. Minecraft YouTuber Technoblade has died aged 23. His family has confirmed an emotional farewell video posted on his behalf. The video, titled So Long Nerds and posted to his 10 million followers, showed his father calling him the most amazing kid anyone could ever ask for. The US internet personality rose to fame live streaming and posting clips of himself playing the Sandbox video game. Last year, Technoblade revealed to fans he had been diagnosed with cancer. The farewell message, written hours after his death and read by his father, began, "Hello everyone, Technoblade here. If you're watching this, I am dead." It went on to reveal that his real name was in fact Alex, reminiscing about the time he had pranked viewers into believing his name was Dave.
And in sports news, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah today signed a long-term contract extension, putting an end to a lengthy saga about his future at the Premier League club. The Egypt international signed an extension until 2025, with the deal coming after strike partner and Senegal forward Sadio Mane left to join German Bundesliga giant Bayern Munich on a 3-year deal last month. "I feel great and I'm excited to win trophies with the club. It's a happy day for everyone," Salah said in a statement on the club website. "It takes a little bit of time, I think, to renew, but now everything is done, so we just need to focus on what's next." Salah scored 23 league goals for Liverpool last season to share the Premier League Golden Boot with Tottenham Hotspur's Son Heung-min. Hans Chabel was kept on court for more than an hour, but only just as the speedy Tunisian dispatched former junior number 1 Dele Parry 6-2, 6-3 today to reach the fourth round at Wimbledon. The world number 2 had shown little mercy during her progress to the third round, spending less than 2 hours on court. Had she not been broken by pari when serving for the first set at 5-0 up, she would have made it into the last 16 in less than 3 hours on court during the first 5 days of the grass court major. The teenager could not rescue the first set, which Jabal sealed with an ace. She stayed toe-to-toe with the third seed in the second set until 3-3.
Game. So match at 2 sets to love. 6-2, 6-3.
Again. Set them out, Steffo. 3 sets to 1, 3-6, 7-6, 7-6, 6-4. Game, set, match, stop. 3 sets to 1, 6-4, 6-4, 3-6, 7-6.
Game.
And the main news again. President Buhari vows to punish perpetrators of Shivera attack, says Nigeria will know peace again. Senator Peter Wabushek jailed for 7 years. We also brought you a report that 21 people got killed in Russian missile strikes. That was in Ukraine. That's the news now. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Tolu Ojomi. Thanks for watching and do have a good night.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Good people, I greet you. My name is Akitomi Waino, and here is my good old days story. My birthplace is Ibadan. I hail from Ijebu, but I was raised and nurtured by my maternal grandmother in Owode-Egba, where I had my primary and secondary education. Call me Omo Yagba, and you won't be far from the truth. But I bet you, the wisdom and knowledge garnered under the tutelage of this, our grandparents cannot be bought with money. You grow fast, you learn faster. Growing up in Owode was fun and peaceful. Standard of living was moderate as majority of the people there were mostly petty traders. Our ambitions were really not to be rich overnight. Our ambitions centered around academic fulfillment and economic contentment. Growing up, I could not notice any fundamental and remarkable difference between my cousins who were Muslim and those of us who were Christians in the way we were relating with each other. We would eat, play, and do things together. I recall with fond memories the particular incident. One of my grandmother's cousins, Mr. Fasasi Ikumakpai, fondly called Baba Pupa because of his complexion, the go-to person whenever there were issues to be resolved. Baba Pupa, a lanky man with Owu tribal marks, was an enigma, very eloquent and intelligent. He commanded so much respect from all and sundry. At some points, you will assume he was a local chief. One fateful day, a man in the neighborhood came to report to Baba Pupa that his wife just packed out of their matrimonial home. Without asking questions, Baba Pupa sent words to the wife through an emissary. Go back home and promise to see the couple the following day to resolve the matter. The estranged wife not only went back home, she also made peace with the husband, courtesy Baba Pupa. Such were the situation in those days. Before the courts, elders always would wade in and settle disputes, be it domestic or land matters. Where are our elders today? What went wrong? Are those communal methods of settling rifts in those days? Do they still have bearing on our community? A food for thought. Moving to Lagos under the tutelage of my late uncle, he inculcated in us high moral standards. Our house on Shubola Street, Surulere, was not different from a hostel. It was a house that had over 30 children, eating from same pots, from siblings to cousins to nephews, even friends and friends' children, and all sorts of acquaintances. Fighting was prohibited. Participation in church activities was a must for all the children. Everyone had his daily shares, which must be carried out, and it must be done diligently without supervision. NTA 2 Channel 5 then was forbidden in our house because of the station's regular broadcast of foreign movies. Lists will get corrupted with foreign influences. The relationship between us and our immediate neighbors was remarkable. We shared same boundaries with the mosque. The mosque was like our playing ground. I remembered a boy from the mosque had a domestic accident and one of my brothers took him for treatment in our church clinic. When the chief imam of the mosque heard, he was happy. That was how the mosque set up its own clinic. The clinic is still there and even bigger today. Moving to Ogunlano Drive, Mama Lasho, as my mother is fondly called, was equally so accommodating, trusting us enough to believe that all those we introduce as our friends are those of strong and impeccable characters. She will always welcome them with open arms and treat them just like her children too. Such was the environment I grew up in. The lesson of those years was still very much on my mind, and I've become the bedrock of my relationship with people. Today, mutual suspicion everywhere. How many parents can willingly accommodate close relations, not to talk of acquaintances? And do you blame them? Bad precedences abound, enough to strengthen people's resolve not to be their brother's keeper. Another food for thought. Now I think and reflect. Can we bring back the glories of those good old days? Can we reenact those strong communal strength of those days and eliminate those mutual suspicion? We can do it. It will be our collective wish to make conscious effort to make the difference. It is scary thinking that our children will refer to this current era as good old days. Together, let's change the narrative. Our children desire and deserve a better future, not the good old days. I therefore join sign Shemode Badejo in this collective drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you.
It's all peace and love on this side, and of course, if you feel it's a type of way, we're sorry about it. We're sorry about your situation, but of course, we wish you speedy recovery, and we hope everybody had a smile on their face this beautiful Friday. And of course, it is a weekend, and of course, we're about to get lit. Who's ready to get lit with me? And of course, it is tea time. Yes, where we bring you intellectual conversation, dope narrations, analysis, and of course, dissection. And of course, somebody special is always in the studio with me, and she always has that vibe, that energy. I mean, look at her blue.